Excellence, says President Buhari as it confers highest and most prestigious award to deserving Nigerians.
Please endeavor at all times to serve as beacons of hope and aspirations for the younger generation of Nigerians.
4 vessels of adulterated fuel intercepted. No cause for alarm, authority assures.
Further commercial and appropriate actions shall be taken by the authority as well as the NMPC.
Plus, stop creation of new parastatals and agencies. Committees on rationalization advise FG. Good evening. This is NTA Network News, and we're reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Ian Ray John. Adiola Komi Akere is in our Lagos studio, while Suleiman Rikachuku joins us from Kaduna. Thank you for joining us. And just so you know, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live, on our YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News. Our Twitter handle is NTA News Now, and Instagram is NTA Network for updates. Let's begin. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria is keen on fostering excellence across the board and will continue to celebrate those who contributed their quota to the arduous task of getting her on the top bracket of outstanding nations. This was at the conferment of the 2020 and 2021 Nigerian National Order of Merit Awards to deserving citizens of the country. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
The award recipients for 2020 are Professor Oluyinka Olurotimi Olutoye, a world-renowned fetal and pediatric surgeon, represented here by his father, Oba Olufemi Rotimi, the Alani of Edoani Kingdom, and the late Professor Charles Ejike Chidume, a globally renowned professor of mathematics, represented by his son, Dr. Okechukwu Chidume. And the awardee for 2021 is Professor Godwin Samuel Ehagbwere, a world-renowned professor of mathematical physics with research interests and activities in non-commutative stochastic analysis, tropical partial algebras, and financial mathematics. The Nigerian National Order of Merit is the highest and most prestigious award bestowed by the country on its citizens for creative, intellectual, and academic contributions that have national and global significance.
I am proud to welcome the new laureates to this prestigious League of Citizens. You are not just a national treasure. You are now important milestones in the history of Nigeria's upward path.
Let me also use this opportunity to call on Nigerian universities, both public and private, to rise up to the challenge and continue to lead in innovative research targeted at providing solutions to the many problems affecting the country, especially post-COVID-19 era.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the award recipients, assured them that the nation will continue to celebrate and hold up their achievements as a shining example worthy of emulation by upcoming young men and women in the country.
Please endeavor at all times to serve as beacons of hope and aspirations for the younger generation of Nigerians, reminding them that our survival and collective future as a nation ultimately rests on our being active participants in global developmental efforts, especially in science and technology.
The President appreciated the governing board of the Nigerian National Order of Merit Award for making transparency and love for the nation as the hallmark of their stewardship, saying the good work must be sustained.
The Nigerian National Order of Merit Award is one of the enduring national legacies that are held in high regard. I wish to assure you that this administration is fully committed to giving the recognition that it deserves by immortalizing its recipients who have taken this country to greater heights, both in Nigeria and in diaspora.
And on behalf of the award recipients, Professor Godwin Ehagbwere thanks the federal government for finding them worthy of recognition after what he described as diligent, thorough, objective, and rigorous selection process.
This is bound to inspire many persons around the world who regard us as their mentors, while potentially fostering increased interest in science and medicine in Nigeria, and also the groundbreaking applications of these subjects to national development.
Established 43 years ago, the Nigerian National Order of Merit Award recipients have now increased to 79. Each one of them adjudged to have epitomized the fineness of Nigeria's capacity for innovation and creativity. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from the State House now, a large quantity of adulterated fuel has been intercepted by the Nigerian Mid and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and product tracing exercise ongoing in filling stations. Authority Chief Executive, Nigerian Mid and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, relates the current fuel situation in the country to this development. Mia Ogidi brings us details.
Methanol, an essential component in petrol, but when it is beyond the specification in the product, harmful to the car. 4 vessels laden with petrol shipped into Nigeria, some of its content already in circulation. Unfortunately, this product has methanol which is outside official specification of Nigeria's petrol. Mid and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority goes for product tracing.
The limited quantity of the impacted products has been isolated and withdrawn from the market, including those loaded in trucks. The source supplier has been identified, and further commercial and appropriate actions shall be taken by the authority as well as the NNPC.
Motorists in Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory groaning. The queues getting longer, so the pain also extended. Situation not unconnected with the adulterated fuel issue at hand.
Talk about shortage in the system, but it wasn't really such a. What happened is we tried to, when we got the information, when we detected this information, we tried to slow down and isolate the tank. So all those volume that was supposed to be coming up to the northern part or other parts of the southern midwestern part of the country were actually stopped, isolated, because we wanted to investigate, identify, and isolate the affected volumes before it went into the market. So maybe that's what caused a small gap, which is manifesting now.
About 4 filling stations. They no join NNPC or Wando. All of them just stop once that they are not selling for again.
From the authorities to the motorist, just bear with us. It's for everyone's good. Mia Ogidi, NT News.
Now, talking security, Senate is making efforts to provide legal framework for a comprehensive system of firearms control and to provide for matters connected therewith. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Ogunshola reports that the bill intends to regulate movement of arms and ammunition, among other things.
3 bills passed second reading at the plenary, including a bill seeking to provide a holistic control of firearms in the country.
Enable the federal government to remove illegally possessed firearms from the society, to control the supply, possession, transfer, and use of firearms, and to detect and punish the negligence or use of firearms.
We should also try to ensure that that bill focuses a bit on local manufacture of firearms.
Establish a comprehensive system of firearms control and to provide for matters connected there with 2022 second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to report back within 4 weeks.
Bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Orogun Delta State was passed through the committee of the earlier version to address some fundamental issues, as well as a bill for legal education consolidation. President of the Senate at plenary announced the PDP's nomination of Senator Shaibu Issa Lau from Taraba North as the Deputy Minority Leader of the Senate.
Which we saw communicate to you. We believe Senator Lau will be an asset to the leadership of the Senate. Thank you and do accept the assurances of our highest regards.
This day,
announce henceforth my exit from the People's Democratic Party and to join the governing party because of visible presence of the party in my senatorial district.
Senate and plenary confirmed Professor Ayo Omotayo as the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, Jos. Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, played host to executive secretaries of supervisory bodies of the nation's higher institutions to address issues bordering on hike in tuition fees across the country. The meeting later went into executive session. From the National Assembly, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
And away from the red chambers now, strategic leadership is critical for the fight against insecurity and development in Nigeria. Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello made the assertion in a lecture delivered at the National Defense College, Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
These are participants of Course 30 of the National Defense College, drawn from the military, paramilitary and other security agencies.
The participants will read the course and come up with position papers on how to address some of these challenges.
With security threats in parts of Sokoto, Kaduna and Niger states, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello in a lecture stressed on the responsibility of state governors to effectively support security agencies with information and logistics to boost their morale and their internal security operations across the country. The lecture also harps on the roles and importance of coordinated non-state actors in stemming crime from the root and effective mobilization of village heads and traditional rulers in tracing and tracking criminality.
The only solution is to apply technology to control our borders. We need to tighten our border patrol to reduce influx of light arms and heavy arms into the country. There is need for more understanding between political heads and military hierarchy.
There are 102 participants in the 11-month course. From the National Defense College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, interagency collaboration is a pathway to achieving effective delivery of security services. To attain this standard, the Police Affairs Ministry is engaging different security agencies on their roles. Francis Fong reports.
Reducing interagency rivalry amongst security agencies to the barest and enhancing maximum cooperation is the thrust of this meeting organized by the Ministry of Police Affairs.
It's about collaboration to achieve an objective, not competition, interagency competition. It is not about superiority of individuals between and among security agencies and security personnel.
Resolving the issues of conflicts, conscious actions and inactions of personnel to accord respect and observe team spirit among personnel of sister agencies, as well as enlightening personnel on their responsibilities were also discussed.
You must know your duties, you must know your responsibilities, you must know the overlaps and how you relate and integrate synergy with other agencies. So that's it. Education, education, education. If you don't know, you can't deliver. And there will continue to be crises as long as individuals don't train, individuals remain ignorant.
The ministry is stepping up its strategic role to sustain the gains recorded. Francis from NTA News.
Elsewhere, Nigeria is developing a national roadmap for the management of response to criminal or unauthorized acts contravening regulatory control. Director General, Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, Yao Idris, said this at a workshop for the management of atomic energy. Adebola Brookslyn reports.
The years, nuclear and other radioactive materials have increasingly become preferred tools in the hand of criminals and terrorists for creating threats to global security. In its bid to tackle nuclear terrorism, the International Atomic Energy Agency is helping policymakers and experts worldwide to improve nuclear security and manage radioactive sources.
We will together review the identified capability gaps, prioritize them, and agree on a nuclear security response roadmap in which gaps will be addressed and the national response capacity will be enhanced.
As Nigeria is developing a national nuclear security detection architecture, the Director General insists the response component cannot be overlooked.
This caused the need to develop national capabilities to respond to criminal and unauthorized acts involving nuclear and radioactive materials.
The framework will establish a mechanism to coordinate the various activities undertaken by several competent authorities during the response to a nuclear security event.
Workshop which seeks to drive a systemic recovery of materials considered as out of regulatory control is one of the expected outcomes of the 5-day convergence. Adebola Brookslyn, NTA News.
And just a quick reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.nj/live, on our YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News. Our Twitter handle is at NTA News Now, and Instagram is NTA Network for updates. Time for a quick break. Please stay.
The Executive Governor of Yobe State, Honorable May Malabuni, pursuing an unrelenting drive to revitalize Yobe's education sector, has the pleasure as chief host to inform the public about the Yobe State Education Appeal Fundraising event scheduled for Thursday, the 10th of February 2022 at the Ladi Kwali Hall of the Sheraton Hotel, Abuja from 9:30 a.m. Co-host, Distinguished Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, PhD, GCON. Chief Launcher, Alhaji Dahiru Barau Mangal. Chairman, CEO, Mangal Group of Companies supported by Launcher. Chairperson, His Excellency Ambassador Baba Gana Kingibe, GCON. Hosts, all state governors, Senator Bukar Abba Ibrahim, CFR, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, Senator Ibrahim Bomai, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliu, Malam Adamu, Mohammed Musa Bello, Adamu Meina Waziri, and Kashim Ibrahim Imam. Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness Muhammad Abali Ibn Muhammad Idrisa, OFR, Emir of Fika and Chairman, Yobe State Council of Chiefs. For further information, please contact 0701-313-5386 or 0810-000-0888. Announcer, His Excellency Idi Bardigubana, the Deputy Governor, Yobe State, and the Chairman, Organizing Committee.
You won't go shake your body, instead they make you calm down. Eat a farm say you sabi. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. No cubes. That's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic. And enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
At the heart of your waking up and going out is your desire to succeed. This keeps you awake, running through your mind, even when bathing. At Bedmate, we understand and remain your partners in providing you durable furniture that helps you work better and introduces you as a person of good taste. That's why from 13 January to 20 February 2022, you can own items in a Sophia Office series at incredible discounts of 20% off with amazing gifts too. Hurry now to our showrooms to enjoy this limited offer like many others needing high-performance work tools to success.
Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, invites members to the first session of 2022 Mandatory Continuing Professional Development MCPD program. Theme: Contemporary Development in Public Sector Accounting. Date is Monday, February 28 to Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue: M&M Event Center, 900 Herbert Macaulay Way, beside International Conference Center, Abuja. Chief host: Reverend Canon Professor Benjamin Chuka Osisioma, FCNA. President and Chairman of Council. Signed, Dr. Nuruddin Abba Abdullahi, MNI, FCNA Chief Executive Officer, Announcer. Anan, a premium brand of choice.
A golden fish, they say, has no hiding place. When you're looking for a world-class citadel of learning with high standards and moral values, Thomas Adelmi University is the place to be, with our duly accredited courses ranging from medical laboratory science, nursing science, accounting, criminology and security studies, computer science, and software engineering. Our serene environment is effective learning in grooming the future leaders of Nigeria and by extension, the world. Contact us on 090-539-29899 or visit our website on www.tau.edu.ng. Thomas Adelmi University, we set the pace, others follow.
Thank you for staying. Nigeria is now in the 22nd unbroken year as a democracy, with series of peaceful transitions to power. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the right of electorate is central to democracy and that it must be protected by electoral laws and judicial interpretation in electoral cases. The Vice President spoke at the 53rd Conference of the National Association of Law Teachers with the theme, Law, Democracy and the Electoral Process. State House correspondent Didi Onifade brings us details.
Democracy and social justice are vital structures required for nation building, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, stating that this is the more reason why legal profession must maintain its integrity and ethos, as it is one of the pivots upon which civilization rests.
Courts are reinforced by scholarship. It is scholarship that reinforces and helps our courts to clarify their own thoughts and clarify their own reasoning. Where there is no alternative view coming from anywhere, where scholarship is silent, then we cannot blame the direction in which our legal institution is going.
Reflecting on the nation's journey into civil rule, the Vice President says the people have witnessed electoral contests in which mere membership of the ruling party is not a guarantee of victory, stating that these are signs of growth as a democracy, but which he says still has room for improvement. After attending the conference, the Vice President, accompanied by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, and some members of the National Assembly, visits the parent of Anifa Abubakar, the kidnapped and murdered Kano pupil.
And God doesn't make mistakes. Whatever God does, we accept in good faith.
In an emotion-laden voice, father of the girl, Abubakar Abdul Salam, shows gratitude for the visit.
I'm grateful. I'm sincerely honored. The only thing I would say is to pray for him, to pray for the entire nation, so that peace will reign.
The Vice President consoled and prayed for the family and the people of the state. In Kano, Didi Onifade, NT News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has been asked to put a hold on the creation of new parastatals, agencies and commissions to reduce costs of governance in the country. This forms part of recommendations of the reports of two review committees on restructuring and rationalization of federal government parastatals, agencies and commissions, submitted to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa in Abuja. Vitari Ikme reports.
It's almost 10 years after the Orosaye panel recommended a reduction of federal agencies with overlapping functions from 263 to 161 to cut the cost of governance. Two review committees set up last year have come up with their reports and a white paper.
Placing a moratorium on the creation of new federal parastatals, agencies and commission. B, to direct the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission to adhere strictly to the act establishing it and henceforth desist from approving salaries. And C, strict adherence by political office holders to the terms of their engagement, especially in relation to the appointment of aides.
The growth and personnel cost of some of the agencies were in the period when there was still embargo for employment. So those areas we've also said one or two words there, the government certainly needs to look into those areas as to what was responsible for such.
SGF boss Mustafa thanked members of both committees comprising former heads of service of the Federation for a thorough job, reiterating the federal government's determination to reduce personnel cost and wasteful spending in the public service.
As a matter of fact, the recent approval of increased duty to our allowances makes it more compelling for the federal government to take urgent steps in cutting down on costs of governance as a result of recurrent expenditure.
Government is of the opinion that now is the right time to cut down on the cost of governance. In Abuja, Ntalive, Ikben, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is working on a legislation to facilitate the establishment of a Center for Vaccine Research and Development in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ntalive reports that the bill to that effect passed second reading during Tuesday plenary.
The establishment of the Nigeria Center for Vaccine Research and Development, the lawmakers noted, is in conformity with what obtains in other countries where a Center for Disease Control and Center for Vaccine Research and Development exist side by side.
I believe it will offer Nigerians and Nigeria a very special opportunity where vaccine can be studied in a research center in relation to our peculiarities. There are some vaccines that you acquire from Western world, you take it for 2 years, you will never have typhoid. Our people need to do that. Even on issue of malaria,
reinforce the Nigerian Institute of Veterinary Research involved in JOS so that they can be able to carry out their mandate.
The manufacturing is the end point. We have to research first to develop our own vaccine and to save a lot of billions we are spending.
The bill seeks to enhance research on infections that pose a risk to public health. Other bills passed at second reading include the Constitution Amendment Bill to review education qualification for certain elective positions and the bill sponsored by Representative Ahmed Jah Babao seeking establishment of Federal University of Agricultural Technology in Damboa, Borno State, just as the bill to establish Federal Polytechnic Koko Delta State from Representative Thomas Ireitomi was considered. Among resolutions adopted is the call from Morena Ajibola on the need to rehabilitate the Ido-Igongon Road in Oyo State and the motion from Abdullahi Halims urging investigation into accidents involving trucks belonging to Dangote Industries in Ankpa, which resulted in casualties.
It is one of the major highways in the country, which connects the southwest with northwest and north central, as well as links Nigeria to the Federal Republic of Benin.
Call on the Federal Road Safety Corps to intervene and ensure road safety compliance by Dangote Industries Limited.
The motion from Chukwu Kaungima appealing for assistance to victims of a fire from a failed truck along Onisha Owerri Road was also adopted. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And away from the Green Chambers now, China is hoping that health authorities in Nigeria would approve the full integration of herbal medicines into modern practice. Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Chu Junshan, made the disclosure at a herbal medicine strategic meeting put together by the Nigerian Youth Congress in Abuja. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Health Organization's Traditional Medicine Strategy 2014 to 2023 targets, which aims to promote safe and effective use of traditional and contemporary medicine, is yielding positive results. This is because Nigeria is cashing in on the benefits of herbal practices to healthcare.
That the herbal product, when effectively supported and encouraged for mass cultivations and productions for national and international consumption, will generate a lot of economic value to the GDP of Nigeria and generate employment and empowerment opportunity for the youths of this country.
Critical actors in herbal medicine practices are of the opinion that research and integration of practitioners into the nation's health system will help meet the World Health Organization's targets before 2023.
I think that it's time for the two countries to think about, can they generate, operate the Chinese Nigeria and Nigeria traditional herbal medicine. In China,
They say harnessing herbal products for export is another avenue for wealth generation for the nation. The meeting also featured an exhibition of herbal products. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And away from health matters now, Nigeria and the United Nations are working closely to achieve cleaner energy transition to meet up the net zero target by 2060. Special representative of the UN Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All, Damilola Ogunboyi, and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama, held talks on the benefits of the Renewable Energy Plan. Usman Aliyu reports.
Nigerians had been hoping for a reliable, affordable and stable power for homes and industrial use, especially with abundant resources waiting to be tapped. Proponents of the new global agenda put the perspective of the challenge side by side. Nigeria's large and growing economy, which can be sustained with the change to safer energy alternatives, this meeting notes. The federal government's plan to float a flagship program expected to provide for 25 million people decentralized solar energy solutions was highlighted to prove Nigeria's readiness for the clean energy transition plan.
And, there's a lot of progress that the country is making, especially in the framework of our national determined contributions towards net zero emissions.
There are three key things we need to do first. Alleviate 100 million people out of energy poverty, industrialize as well, like the scale of other emerging economies and developing economies, and try as much as possible to do our own transition, which is really getting out of diesel and petrol generation now.
It is expected that this engagement will open platforms for implementation of the energy transition strategy. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
Some youths in Asaba, the Delta State capital, are undergoing a 3-day skills acquisition training in hair braiding and styling. Lush Hair Academy, in collaboration with Nation Builders College of Technology, has taken the initiative to help the young ones at no cost. Tessie Coker covered the exercise.
The 3 days free workshop in professional braiding and bridal styling is to enable youth around the region benefit from the life-transforming opportunity. This is Abjan Amaka, a hairstylist who hungers for excellence in the field of hairdressing. He says the training will expand his client base.
Well, I got the information about the Lush Hair program through a friend. Then I now went to the internet and confirmed it fully before I now became a registered through the online.
For Jennifer Ugoke and John, it is a life-changing experience.
I like it when I see people making hair. I have to go to salon to make my hair. So I was like wondering, like, it would be nice if I learned something like this too.
A lot of them are just there on the street, not doing anything. So when Lush called and said they want to do such a thing in Asaba, oh, I was so moved.
For the initiators, the participants should be diligent and professional.
If you're already a hairstylist, you can upgrade your plan, upgrade, you need to know what is trendy.
For the brand, the most important thing is women. The most important thing for the brand is women, and we want all of you to be, to feel beautiful.
Lush, haven't seen what they've seen their precedents over the years and what they've been doing. We try to bring them down to train our unemployed youths or even adults who are not even youth but they are unemployed.
Lush Hair Academy is open to receive entries from individuals who are learning hair braiding and styling from basics, and for those who intend to sharpen their skills. In Asaba, Tessie Coker, NTA News.
And from Asaba, we head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by to feed us with more news. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Iara.
For the second day running, there have been long queues at fuel service stations in Lagos State as residents embark on frantic search for petrol. Adeniyi Taiwo reports that the scarcity has also worsened traffic gridlock in some parts of the metropolis.
What started early Monday morning and which got many Lagosians hoping that it would just be a flash in the pan is actually turning into a nightmare, as many of them are now forced to, queue for long hours at fuel station in order for them to get the product. Within Obalende, Victoria Island and Ikoyi axis, there are only few filling stations that I saw dispensing petrol.
We are queuing for fuel and I've been on the line for almost 2 hours now.
Almost 2 hours?
Yes.
So are they selling? At what price are they selling?
They are selling. I don't even know at what price. I've been on the road since morning. And how much work can I do now when I get to the office? I'm already getting tired.
From Ojodu to come to Alakpere. I was just driving on the road hoping that I will get, because the ones in my area are not selling.
Surveillance around Ogudu, Obalende and Victoria Island areas of the state, however, showed that many of the service stations stopped selling the product after allegedly running out of stock.
They don't want to sell the fuel again.
Is it that they don't have to sell or they don't want to sell?
They don't want to sell.
This is despite repeated assurance from the federal government that there is adequate supply of petrol in the country.
And when you ask why this sudden scarcity, the story we have, which we read on papers, on social media, is that a mother tanker came in with a huge volume of, nobody knows, do you say it's adulterated, do you say it's off-spec, but nobody knows exactly what category of product it is.
The usual traffic gridlock in some part of the metropolis was worsened by the scarcity. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Promoting tolerance and understanding can sometimes be challenging in a heterogeneous country like Nigeria. But as a people who cherish assets like arts and culture, achieving national unity has been simplified. Engino June Adams examines the role of arts and culture in building a united Nigeria.
As the most populous black nation in the world, Nigeria has diverse and rich cultural heritage. The various languages, dialects, way of dressing, dance steps, and dishes reflect the robust cultural assets of the country. These add to her beauty. Little wonder, they say, variety is the spice of life. The beauty that comes with this heterogeneity is not without some challenges, which may include difficulty in understanding the basic elements of each other's cultures and beliefs, as well as perceived frictions. Arts and culture as people's way of life play a great role in turning the multiplicity of Nigeria into unity.
Culture has been able to bring people together through festivals, through cultural shows and programs. People have been able to adapt to other people's food, adapt to other people's clothing, adapt to other people's even language.
Cultural enthusiasts believe that the country's heterogeneous nature is a good source of strength.
Intentionally, we must teach our children our language. Teach them Igbo, Hausa, Ibibio, whatever, wherever you are from.
They also advocate appreciating other people's way of life to achieve a better Nigeria.
There is no culture excluded to the other culture. All cultures are good. You need to open up your mind for you to really understand somebody from their own perspective, for them to also be able to understand your own perspective.
Cultural enthusiasts say if Nigerians uphold the saying, together we stand and divided we fall, national unity will take the lead. In Lagos, Engino John Adams, NTA News.
We're done from here, but don't forget that you can follow this news live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News. Online, you can also visit our Facebook page at NTA Network News, a Twitter handle at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates. It's time for us to take another break. The news will continue thereafter. To stay with us.
Just a prayer away.
creative dance talent.
I am always thinking about your well-being, so when I learned that 7 out of 10 children in Nigeria are iron deficient and this slows their growth, affects learning, and can cause anemia, I got worried.
Mom is right. 1 sachet of Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus a day provides 50% of your child's daily iron need to support proper growth and learning.
That's reassuring.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Why you they treat me like say I know important? You know the rate waiting I be to you. Clean me up, treat me well. No be just do the dump and go. You need to show me that you care. Oh yeah. Because no matter where you go, no matter how we be, I go always there for you. Anything where you jump or whatever you drink, oh, I cannot give it back for you. All I ask in return is that you treat me a little better. It's I go toilet cleaner, my hygiene now your own. No, I go toilet cleaner. It's a win-win for me and you, so make me win. No. I miss them.
Well, they should be on their way by now.
Will it feel like it used to? With everyone so busy these days.
It will be fine.
Suddenly, she passes right. Oh, yeah, line up. Single file.
Grandpa, what was Grandma like?
She always found ways to bring us all together.
Devon Kings, taste that brings us all together.
Judges of Nigerian Idol Season 7 are ready. The stage is set, and now it's time for you to impress.
Nigerian Idol Season 7, showing every Sunday on Africa Magic Urban and Family. Proudly sponsored by Biggie Drinks, Nigeria's favorite, and Binance. Exchange the world.
Glad to have you back. Now time to have a feel of the business world with Benny Adams. Benny.
Yes, Nyere, it's time to talk business. I will start by telling you that the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is set to capture export data between Nigeria and Benin Republic, aimed at formalizing the high volume of trade between the two countries. Former Nigerian ambassador to Benin Republic, Oguntuashe Kayode, is leading the collaboration.
We believe that there will have been standardization of trade policy, economic policy, even security policies, including even education. There are so many schools that are in Benin Republic that are fake schools, and they are coming to Nigeria to create problems for us. So all these things can be easily harmonized if we have a permanent joint commission.
And on the energy market, oil prices eased on Tuesday ahead of resumption of indirect talks between the United States and Iran, which may revive a nuclear deal that could lead to removal of sanctions on Iranian oil sales, increasing global supplies. Brent crude was last $1.78 at $90.91 per barrel after hitting a 7-year high of $94 on Monday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was down $1.72 at $89.60 per barrel. And on the capital market, investors lost 78.75 billion naira as all share index declined by 0.31%. Sell pressure persists as equities market closed at 47,057.24 basis points. 238.2 million shares worth 5.08 billion naira were traded in 4,862 deals. Equity capitalization declined to 25.3 trillion naira. Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, Zenith and Fidelity Banks dominated the activity chart. That is business news. Network news continues with Rigachuku.
Investment by federal government on promoting indigenous technology is taking center stage, with more young Nigerians producing state-of-the-art equipment. Umar Ajingi reports.
Idris Muhammad, 27-year-old graduate of biological science, serving as NYSC member at Kaduna Polytechnic Center for Research and Innovation, manufactured this electrically propelled motorcycle. It does not need fuel to move. Instead, it's battery-powered and covers a range of 40 kilometers, thus curtailing gas emission dangerous to environment.
The combustion engine, makes a lot of pollution, right? So as a biologist, I tried, okay, let me try to solve, how do I solve this problem? So that's when I started thinking of electric vehicles.
Similarly, a 3D printer and customized casing of electrical and electronic projects, including this first Nigerian ventilator produced by these young minds between the ages of 20 to 30. Stakeholders have the view that the way forward for Nigeria is investing on vocational skills to stop incessant importation of goods the country has the capacity to produce for export and domestic consumption.
In the Polytechnic, we are practically oriented. We are going to produce prototypes that can really make impact on the national economy, that will stop importation of all these gadgets. We can make it in Nigeria.
In addition to creating wealth and providing jobs, the nation's economy achieves positive growth, the stakeholders say.
This is an evidence that more innovations are possible from Nigeria when we are supported.
I could not resist an invitation to join a smooth ride on the electric cycle. This electric motorcycle has a top speed of 50 km per hour, and it can cover a range of 40 km just on a single charge. In Kaduna, Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Quite interesting there. Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has intercepted smuggled items with duty paid value of about 7 million naira. Acting controller of the command, Dalha Wadachedi, while displaying the contraband to newsmen, said the seizure was made within the month of January this year. Shewadamu reports.
As smugglers devise means of sabotaging the nation's economy, so do the operatives of the Nigeria Customs Service re-strategize to suppress the trend to protect the local economy for sustainable development. Those were the words of the acting controller of the Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service, Dalha Wadachedi, while displaying contraband intercepted within Katsina axis. Among the smuggled items seized include 629 bags of foreign rice of 50 kilograms each, 110 jerrycans of vegetable oil of 25 liters each, 16 cartons of tomato paste, and 79 cartons of macaroni. Other intercepted contraband are 96 cartons of milky creamer, 8 bales of new blankets, 50 bales of second-hand clothing, as well as 388 jerrycans of premium motor spirit of 25 liters each, which were disposed in accordance with the let-down procedures.
Please desist from these smuggling activities. Therefore, come forward. We are ready to give you out. That is, we have so many things to tell you, to show you, to explain to you. We are talking about the government incentives.
Controller Dalha Wadachedi also said the command seized 10 vehicles either smuggled into the country or served as means of conveyance. He therefore appealed for the continued understanding of the border communities in the fight against smuggling in all ramifications. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
And with that report, Inyere in Abuja will continue with the rest of the stories after the break.
Public policy issues with 5G network and digital economy. That is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, every week at 10:30 p.m. Incisive and educative. Join us.
The 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportations. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause.
Welcome back. 25,000 rice farmers are participating in the 2021-2022 dry season farming in Gombe State under the federal government CBN Anchor Borers project. Abbas Mekano reports that women received special recognition for their previous performance.
It is not coincident that farmers in Gombe State excel in rice production among the states of the Federation, with over 140,000 metric tons presented by the state recently in Abuja Rice Pyramids exhibition. The farmers' hard work, determination and commitment, coupled with the intervention of the CBN Anchor Borers program of the federal government, put Gombe State ahead of its contemporaries in rice production. In yet another ceremony to flag off 2021-2022 dry season farming impulse disbursement, 25,000 farmers have been earmarked to benefit from the program.
Gambia mutinies, we are all happy. Gombe is the best, we are leading. We have submitted 104,020 metric tons of paddy rice.
Women received over 1,000 slots as a result of their excellent performance in the previous program.
If a woman farm, the family will not be hungry. Those living around will not be hungry.
If you see me before, I was not like this, but because of this program and the project, I was able to have some piece of land.
There are widows among them, there are single mothers, you understand, and there are some that are even married who want to participate in agriculture. For those of them that have single mothers and widows who don't have anything to do, this is going to provide a lot of livelihood for them.
With the coming of this president, boosting farming activities have been a policy thrust, and we appreciate these efforts. Highlights of the ceremony include presentation of awards of recognition to distinguished personalities. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
Now time for a bit of sports with Gift George as our guide.
Ahead of the Super Falcons Africa Women Championship qualifiers against the Lady Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire in Abuja, head coach of the team, Randy Waldrum, says he expects his foreign-based strikers to replicate their goal-scoring form for their club sides in the national women team to ensure victory for the Super Falcons in the African Women Championship qualifiers.
We want her producing and scoring goals, but at the end of the day, if she's playing well in the position that we're asking her, and we as a team are scoring goals, that's what counts in the end.
The Nigerian Football Federation on Monday announced the reconstitution of the technical crew of the Super Eagles, with Augustine Eguavon staying as interim technical advisor, while former Flying Eagles coach Emmanuel Amunike drafted as immediate assistant to Eguavon and chief coach of the Super Eagles. Salisu Yusuf will be second assistant coach and coach of the Chan team, and Yobo third assistant, while Aloyago remains as goalkeeper trainer. 2 European football, England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland have agreed to bid to co-host the Euro 2028 Football Championship and also to drop their aims of hosting the 2030 FIFA World Cup. This will provide the first ever hosting right for Wales, Northern Ireland, and Republic of Ireland. The 5 football associations have come to a collective decision after what they called an extensive feasibility study. Finally, on the World Club Cup, Chelsea will face Al Hilal on Wednesday in the semi-finals of the World Club Cup competition. The Saudi Arabian club sides trashed Abu Dhabi team Al Jazeera 6-1 on Sunday, with Super Eagles striker Odion Igalo amongst the goal scorers on his debut. European Champions League and Super Cup winners Chelsea joined the competition at the last 4 stage. Al Hilal qualified for the World Club competition after winning the Asian Football Confederation's trophy. Chelsea will be hoping to win the competition for the very first time as it commences its campaign with the semi-final clash against Odion Igalo's Al Hilal on Wednesday. Chelsea had to make the trip to Abu Dhabi without its manager Thomas Tuchel, who tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday. With sports update, Gift George, NTA News.
And that concludes NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Please be a great star and stand against rape and rapists. I'm Ian Ray John. Have a good night.
There's a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Our bodies are created to perform optimally at all times. But when unknown variables introduce abnormal cells that divide uncontrollably and destroy body tissue, the decline sets in. Cancer. For millennia, this disease has plagued the human population. But what causes it? How does it affect us? Who is most susceptible? Get your answers this Wednesday, the 9th of February 2022 at 9 a.m. only on Conversations.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Beyond 6 packs.
Bills. Pay the bills. Keep paying the telephone bills. Pay my bills. Welcome to Gallery.
Me and my paddies.
London for what? London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko no.
Airport Service of the NTA.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College Short Proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Computer Appreciation for Media Practitioners. Date 21st February to 28th February 2022. 1 week. English Grammar and Pronunciation for Broadcasters. Date 1st March to 25th March. 4 weeks. Administrative Principles, Processes and Practices. Date 11th March to 31st March 2022. 4 weeks. Modern Trends in Broadcast Media Marketing. Date 14th March to 13th April 2022. 4 weeks. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 4th April to 19th April 2022. 2 weeks. The course fee for the 1 week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2 week course is 150,000 naira, while the course fee for the 4 week course is 180,000 naira only, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Allah wannan ƙasa tamu Najeriya ka ba mu lafiya da zaman lafiya da sauran ƙasashenmu gaba ɗaya. Allah ka raba mu da fitintunu da tashin hankali. Ya Allah duk abin da zai firgita mu Allah Ubangiji ka ije mana shi. Cututtukan da suke damun mu ya Ubangiji Allah ka takaice mana annoba, ka takaice mana fari, ka takaice mana rashi. اللهم آمنا في أوطاننا وأصلح أئمتنا وولاة أمورنا واجعل ولايتنا في من خافك واتقاك يا أبنجي كبام أمنشي أكسرمو كرما مدى ياكم باساسا كرما مدى زبد جني يا الله كجارة من شوى قبنمو الله كسنيا ما سطوران كسوني داس جاغورنشيمو يا الله وانا سياسة دا أكي فسكنتا دا زابي أبنجي الله كسائي لافيا أقبا لافيا الله كهذا كان نيجيريا كزونا دمو لافيا musulmanmu da wanda ba musulmanmu ba ka inganta mana kasuwancinmu ka inganta mana mu'amalolinmu ka inganta mana shige da ficenmu ya ubangiji ka dora mu akan hanya ta daidai ya Allah kar ka bar mu cikin fadace Allah kai ka ce mu roƙe ka ya Allah muna roƙonka ka amsa mana Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majidun wa barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun مجيد سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Arise, O Nigerians! Let's applaud the courage of Flight Lieutenant Abayomi Dairo, aka the Aggressor, for his skillful and dogged escape from the bloodthirsty bandits in the forest of Zamfara State. 3 hearty cheers also to all military and security personnel who are tirelessly protecting fellow Nigerians from insurgency and banditry while maintaining peace and order. Nigerians are proud of Abayomi Dairo and all our gallant men and women in uniform for sacrificing so much to keep us safe. We admire your courage and we say thank you. God bless the armed forces. God bless Nigeria. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
smaller per time, the classroom, ironically, is getting bigger. Not in the sense of space, but in terms of achievable possibilities in teaching and learning. All thanks to technology. How that plays out in the Nigerian system is our focus on this edition of Dateline 360 as we examine the smart school curriculum and how it is helping to build a technologically savvy population. I am Omotala Mojola, and it is always a pleasure to know that you're tuned in to the program. Welcome. Even as the world projects technology as the viable option for improving education, Nigeria is not just standing by. Education correspondent Hadiza Ebune, who has been speaking with experts on the introduction of smart school curriculum in the FCT, reports that the coronavirus pandemic is a major spur for the culture in the country.
With the outbreak of coronavirus in 2019 and the subsequent lockdown that brought economies to their knees in 2020, teaching and learning were immediately sustained and enhanced through the use of technology, the e-learning. Although in Nigeria, much was not achieved due to lack of adequate facilities and human capacity to man the e-learning platforms, especially in most public schools. Director FCT Education Resource Center, Nimat Abdurrahim, said the outbreak of the COVID-19 impacted global educational system by making technology an important tool in every environment.
The COVID has also taught us a lesson whereby the schools were locked down and students were at home for over 6 months. If this technology were in place right from the beginning, there won't be any problem for them to navigate and continue and learning. There will be continuity of learning. To me, it's a welcome development and a welcome initiative.
Acting Chairman, Universal Basic Education Board, Hassan Sule, and Principal, Government Science and Technical College, James Kuta, said COVID-19 changed the method of education globally and has shown the importance of smart school curriculum and the use of technology, which all educational bodies have come to embrace.
This smart school is just a trend that is now coming into the education system. I've told you that if you go to like an FCT now, we have Nigerian Korean Model School, where that school is fully driven by ICT. And most of our schools, we ensure that ICT facilities, e-learning are actually equipped most of our schools so that it makes teaching and learning more easier. And the system, education system, is trying to embrace it.
In the present world, I have always shared that the technology appears to have taken over almost everything. Most of the information we used to access through hard copies these days is easier through computer and through technology, which is computer. And it makes things easier, it makes learning faster, you understand things better. And it has made the world look like a village where you cannot travel to. Through computer or ICT, you get the information is at your doorstep. Unlike those days, you have to go to libraries here, there, and so on and so forth. Through ICT, you get it done easily, so fast, within a short time. And the one good thing with that course is that there is no area of human endeavor that has not touched. And I think that is why we need to have it in our curriculum right from the beginning, especially at the secondary school. If you can't have it at the primary school level, it will be better so that they get used to the ICT.
Most students acknowledge that the use of technology in advancing teaching and learning has given them a broad knowledge and introduced them to many initiatives that have made them innovators.
I feel that ICT has a dominant role to play in our current society, and as world habits, ICT also serves as the growing population for youth. And I feel so grateful that to be in a school and a system where we are always based with ICT tech, games, and also gadgets.
It makes our work easier and faster. Instead of the use of hand or manual writing, you can make use of computer systems which are very reliable and easily accessible.
Educationists say with a smart school curriculum, a teacher anywhere in the country can teach the students anywhere they are, and also even teach all students from other schools and states in Nigeria. Hadiza Ebuni.
Although smart school is not popular in Kano, there are pockets of pioneers in the state. Amin Umar engaged some of them, and his findings reveal their optimism about the potential of smart learning and how it can facilitate international competitiveness in the education sector.
Instructional media has been an integral aspect of education as a teaching aid. Advancement in information and communication technology has, however, transformed it into a more advanced system. COVID-19 pandemic brought to the world so many impediments to all the sectors, especially the education, and the schools were forced to close, with children staying at home. It also forced the world to accept a reality that technology avails. Smart teaching, using both online and offline sources, keeps the students busy.
Many of us are there thinking and disturbed about the pandemic, but alhamdulillah, it helped us a lot.
It was quite a long period of time, but we studied at home.
In the COVID era, we really enjoyed the program because the parents were at home, so their devices were used. But now that the parents have gone back to their businesses, they've gone back to their offices, it's becoming more challenging for us.
This is a typical classroom in a school in Kano. It is unlike the conventional classroom that you have to have pupils sitting under the same roof. But now, the roof is only the sky because the students are somewhere, but the teacher is here. They are interfacing through this platform.
2. When I watch the tennis game.
So we are doing the classes virtually, connecting to pupils from everywhere around the world. We teach them the regular subjects, phonics, letters, numbers, and there's no difference and there's no limit to the creativity because we're achieving a great deal even without seeing them physically.
Children are able to know a lot of things. They're able to attend competitions with other children from all over the world. Children are able to meet children from all over the world, interact with them. So, learning is definitely beyond the classroom now.
Although some schools have keyed in, the smart school system is not without challenges as it needs huge investments and holistic look considering the nature of the nation's infrastructure.
So it's going to be a holistic way in terms of government. Government has to do its own part by providing all, especially the electricity part of it. Then subsequently, the gadget can come in terms of computers, in terms of the internet facilities, in terms of whatever gadget needed, projects and what have you.
This, the educationists believed, if states can look inwards and institute a special fund that will cater for educational needs, the needed shift can be achieved.
States should duplicate what is happening at TED Fund at the federal level. TED Fund is doing well because TED Fund will drag some money from whatever is accrued to the Nigerian economy, especially the oil sector. Then they have some amount of money that are being used, injected into institutions.
However, the new system has the potential of promoting international competitiveness and relevance as students can have access to educational resources of global standards, although the gap between the public and private schools in embracing the system looks wide. In Kano, Amin Umar.
Educationists often emphasize pedagogy as the requisite skill for any educator to be able to relate and transfer knowledge. How this works out in smart learning for teachers and students is presented by Kate Osunwa in our next package.
This is one of the few schools in Imo State where smart tools like computers are used by students for learning. Gerard Amadi is one of those privileged to have been exposed to a smart school system of education. Let's share your experience.
Computer has helped me in many ways. With the use of computer in my school for learning, it makes my work easier, faster. It also helped me in improving my accuracy and speed.
Using the group discussions in the computers, we can be able to interact with our fellow students.
on issues that we are finding difficult. So even without the help of our teachers, we found solution to those problems.
Has made my work easy because initially when you tell the students to go and do 1 or 2 assignments, they find it difficult. But since they have started coming into the lab to make use of the system, making use of their own phone, they now find it very easy.
While the smart school system takes care of the challenge of distance, education experts are of the opinion that if problems of constant power supply and access to internet are addressed, the Nigerian child, especially those in the rural communities, can actually be equipped with all that it takes to be global citizens.
It will close the gap quite all right, because the teacher may not be present to teach the students, but whatever knowledge he wants to pass on to them will get to them, and in time.
Traditional method limits the ability of the learner. So with the smart curriculum in Nigerian educational system, the learner can compare and contrast. The learner can meet up with the societal demand. The learner can compete globally because the smart curriculum makes the learner to be very creative and resourceful.
Since capacity building of the teacher is imperative to reaping of the full benefits of the smart school curriculum, experts maintain that the teacher training institutions need to infuse technological know-how as part of programs offered in such institutions.
Teachers that we are producing here, they need provision of laptops. They need the provision of equipment that is ICT based.
So we need to train teachers. Training of teachers means that they will unlearn old practices of teaching. We also help them to relearn. So if we train them, it will help them to deliver, to implement this curriculum to the benefit of the child. So I'm recommending that government, in collaboration with the federal ministry, should train teachers to help teachers recharge their skills, competency, teaching methods to be in line with global best practice.
The fact that the smart school is child-friendly and has the capacity to boost intellectual ability of learners is not in doubt. It therefore calls for more investment from the government and corporate bodies, especially through the provision of such facilities as computers required to make the teaching and learning process possible. Inowere Kate Osumwa.
Now we've heard great things about smart schools, revealing promises of a technologically driven nation in the near future. Exciting as it may sound, the need to apply the same method of teaching across board is vital to create a balance in learning and provide a level playing field for the next generation. Let's hear more from Shola Wahid.
Stakeholders in the education sector observe that to achieve smart school objectives, teaching and learning concepts such as curricula, instructional material, and information communication technology (ICT), which plays a major role, must be readily available.
21st century teaching cannot continue the way we started before. The children we have now, they're very intelligent, they're very brilliant, and you cannot use old school system in teaching them.
It is achievable very much, at least based on the kind of age we are in, internet age. However, for smart school to be successful, it got to be based on the following. One, availability of the internet. Also, provision of data by the schools involved. The hardware components and the right human resources.
As smart schools are designed for the provision of standard teaching and learning environment, it is also meant to improve school management system. However, the desired objective of smart school could be met with what educationists describe as imbalance between private and government-owned schools.
The policy can work it in such a way that they'll prioritize education in Nigeria, especially the ICT aspect of learning, then it will help a lot.
It might not be easy to achieve in all schools. Reason being that many public schools are not set for smart school. I give you instance. When you go to a lot of public schools, you discover that unavailability of computers,
unavailability of the right personnel to drive the technology.
Any serious-minded school should prepare and work towards having ICT put in place for the students.
Studies have shown that without well-defined policies in long and short-term basis, close monitoring as well as strong political willpower, Smart Schools program in Nigeria stand the risk of failure in the much-desired world class to providing educational services to students. Although the concept of smart school is still a work in progress, it is hoped that the future generation are adequately skilled and equipped for the information age without compromising noble values and culture. Shola Wahid reporting for Dateline 360.
Smart School curriculum was first inaugurated in 2013 in Adamawa State with centers established. 9 years on, Yusuf Jika reports that the centers are yet to take off. What are the issues? Take a view.
Smart curriculum and academic ethics is the most suitable and finest way of impacting knowledge to both the teachers and learners through the use of technological tools in the school curriculum.
The future of the whole world depends there because you have to practicalize things.
You cannot compare somebody who is exposed to the digital means of learning to someone who is not exposed to it. Their reasoning, the way they think, cannot be the same.
Introduced 9 years ago in Adamawa State, but lack of facilities and manpower has affected the full implementation of the system despite provision of centers across the state. According to experts, the state is lagging behind, especially at public schools. Some private schools in the state have already taken off the program, thereby creating a big gap between the students learning through the new method and those using the analog system, especially in the rural areas where old method of teaching is the only way of impacting knowledge to students. Experts are of the view that smart curriculum and academic ethics is a gateway of attaining functional, effective, and efficient education that will stand the test of time.
Smart schools are very much needed in our school setting because looking at the advantages of the smart schools, you can be able to agree with me that it helps in making schools active.
People must move with the time. The world has reached a stage whereby ICT is the vogue. If you are not into it, you are left behind forever. Systems must change, curriculum must change, the way we teach must change, and it has to go with the time.
Smart curriculum is the future, and the need to provide the tools for the attainment of its objectives is paramount for a functional education. In Yola, Yusuf Jika for Deadline 360.
Although Smart School is not trending in Plateau State, the people, Caleb Gochin reports, are optimistic about the possibilities it promises for the state's education sector and that both federal and state governments are taking steps in that direction.
This is one component in the series of efforts to promote ICT by the present administration, and it has been seen as epoch. Plateau State, coming in the second phase of the Smart Schools program, had a team from the nation's capital visiting the site at Wase, sometimes in 2021.
This is the future. If you provide qualitative education to the children, then the prospects is enormous. You know, this is securing their future in the digital economy.
Few months after their departure, work commenced in earnest with expectations of its completion soon.
Right, we're embracing the e-curriculum now. And by e-curriculum, that means that more of what we're paperwork now will go for the soft, the technologically based teaching and learning. And so the curriculum will be compact now. The e-curriculum will be compact. It will be such that not much of the teacher is supposed to be just a facilitator.
He stated that the Plateau State government is ever willing and ready to give all the necessary support for the completion and takeoff of the institution. considering its benefits.
Our prayer is that the federal government will assist the state much more than it is doing now, be able to install more of those equipments, not just in schools that are designated as smart schools, but in schools that even the other public schools that don't have these facilities.
So I would hope that in 2 or 3 years, everything that has to do with the school activities should be computerized, and this will aid us to come up to the society where we now call it a paperless society.
Meanwhile, community leaders from where the school is sited have given their assurances of ensuring that the property and equipment are jealously safeguarded.
We are going to keep an eye in terms of monitoring of the projects. Wherever there are hitches, we'll do our best to ensure that we help the contractor, meet the targets.
It is expected that in the nearest future, and with gadgets like this, most Nigerian children will have the opportunity to showcase their talents and abilities with ease. In Jos, Caleb Gochin.
That is the program. We appreciate your time. I am Omotola Omojola. God bless you and bless Nigeria.
This week on Executive Discuss.
In the night, I was sleeping. Then somebody said, you can now mix the herbs.
Who was the somebody?
I don't know. You can now
But
mix
you're
the herbs.
sure that
yes,
you heard the voice
said you can now
saying
mix
to
the
you.
herbs. So I went back. I remember my grandmother telling me, and then later on telling my mother. I gave Zainab something.
In school, and he comes back with a phone that is 250,000.
Who gave you? So for those who are about to get married and those who are newly married, have proper sex education classes where people are told what to do.
There's a very thin line between self-esteem and, getting your end result and people saying things that will now hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Technology today has made things quite easy. I went through the depression of anxiety of separation and so on. However, using technology.
A lot of us forget to carry our menstrual pads along. We are so excited. This is something that is so important, but for some reason,
we forget.
Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live and I'm Cyril Stober. The federal government recently launched the National Policy on Fifth Generation Networks 5G for Nigeria's digital economy. Now the 5G network is a viable platform for security institutions to leverage on in tackling the security challenges that have bedeviled the country by harnessing the potential of digital technologies such as artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, robotics, etc., which explore real-time information for maximum efficiency. Now, 5G network will enhance transparency and economic development as its potential for job creation is unprecedented. Now, the national policy on 5G will achieve numerous goals, including the security of the ecosystem and the protection of data, ensuring that international best practice and globally accepted standards and specifications are entrenched in Nigeria's ecosystem. Now, experts say formal launch of the 5G network in Nigeria is in furtherance of the federal government's commitment to developing a thriving digital economy. Tonight, NTA Tuesday Live will look at issues and the way forward in this new technology and its deployment. But first, let's get to see this report by Joseph Johnson.
Slowly but surely, public knowledge of the 5G technology is increasingly popular here in Nigeria. However, the same may not be said of its acceptance, at least so it seems for now. Despite the fact that a number of Nigerians have embraced 5G, which is the current generation of mobile communications technology designed to outpace the preceding 4G networks with new capabilities and specifications that will enable innovative solutions and products. Some people are wary of its possible effects, while others prefer to sit on the fence. In the midst of the myth, fears, and fallacies, the federal government is fast-tracking its deployment with the launch of a national policy on the fifth generation networks for Nigeria's digital economy.
International Telecommunications Union, that is ITU, which is an arm of the United Nations, and also World Health Organization, both of them confirm that there is no any adverse health effect of 5G.
Some experts believe and are concerned that although it is a globally accepted technology, local or personal applications are likely to have some disconcerting bearing on users, especially at the onset.
It's a platform that will provide more services, right? So we should be looking at making those services, because those new services also come with attendant security or cyber security and privacy issues. So now the focus now should not be on the deployment of services, but we should also focus on the security and privacy aspects of it, right? Because as you are planning to use a particular service or a particular technology for purposes that are beneficial, then someone is also hiding somewhere to find the loopholes in that technology to use it to maybe to cause problems for people, or to harm people, or to impersonate people, or to defraud people. So definitely 5G is good, but now people have been looking at the security issues associated with 5G, the privacy issues associated with 5G, and there have been some technologies, some models, some tools, some strategies, but research is still ongoing in this domain.
As the journey continues towards deployment, as contained in the policy, the prospects and suitability of the tech for the Nigerian environment, as well as security concerns, health and environmental safety, among others, will form the thrust of the discussion on Tuesday Live. Joseph Johnson.
All right, that report sets the tone for our discussion tonight. Let's start off by introducing our guests. We'd like to welcome to this program Dr. Bayero Agabi is Executive Director, Center for Cyber Awareness and Development, SECAD, and the fellow Nigeria Computer Society Vice President, Internet Group. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We're also joined by Haniel Jafaru, is an IT cybersecurity expert, and MD Hicks Academy. Thanks for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. Okay. As usual, we acquaint you with the procedure of this program. At the appropriate time, you can get to join in the discussion in the studio. The platforms will be on, and we advise to take advantage of that. However, it will not be now, but at the appropriate time, we'll remind you of the terms and conditions, and also make the same appeals, which we make every Tuesday, and that's when you get through certain things you should do so we can all expect to have a clear and seamless conversation on this platform. Once again, welcome to NTA Tuesday Live. Tonight, it's all about 5G, and so many things have been ascribed to 5G. Recall that when talk about it started some years back, quite a number of people, and surprisingly, this was not restricted to those you normally refer to as not knowing. Even some highly placed people had all kinds of things to say about 5G. So let's start to unravel this 5G thing that has been talked about all over the place by asking the simple question: is Nigeria ready for the deployment of 5G technology, Dr. Bayero Agabi?
Yeah, for that I would say a emphatically yes. What it requires to deploy 5G in any country or in any space is one, skills, knowledge, the right policies, and the political will to ensure that it succeeds. And then on top of it is that we have the numbers. So if you have the numbers, then you can generate enough economic activities that will benefit the people and the users. So for creativity and innovation, and to inflate our economy in such a way that it will take us from the level we are now to the next level, for global competitiveness, yes, we are fully ready.
Yeah, but some would say to you that not long ago, you still had issues, 3G, 4G, you have not even fully exploited that yet. And quite a number of citizens are not even onto 4G, and we're talking about 5G.
Yeah, I think maybe we just go backtrack a little bit so that we know the essence of 5G.
Right.
There was, 1G, which is discarded now. That was in the 80s, in the early 80s, and then we have the second G, I call it the second G, that is the 2G, which gave us, you remember that phone that you have to pull out the antenna before you make a call? Right. That was a 2G, and then the 3G that came with data, okay, and we could send text message, and then the 4G LTE, which we now refer to as the triple play, video, multimedia, and audio, so we call it the father of the text era, so we're able to make phone calls, we're able to do our businesses and all of that. So all of those from late 80s to 90s to 2000s, and the progression has been in that way. But with 4G LTE, we have seen the space that it has given us. It's just like the kind of pipe that we have. So there's a need for us to have a technology that provides a space, that means the processing space that is fast enough. Okay, I put it this way: if you have pipe bandwidth, okay,
right,
it provides a larger bandwidth, but bandwidth is just like we have different pipes in our homes of different inches. It depends on the amount of water you need at a particular time.
Right.
Okay, in this case, we need a bigger pipe so that we can have more water.
Okay.
To be able to deploy and inflate our economy. That is the essence of the 5G, because the 5G comes with a lot of advantages that will challenge our abilities, that will challenge our intellect, that will challenge our people, our innovation, and to be able to be self-employed and employ others.
Okay, let's come to Haniel Jafaru. And Your impressions. 5G Nigeria at this time.
Yes, we are ready to deploy 5G. Yes, there were concerns as regards certain things. If 5G is what we need now and all that, but the truth of the matter is, if we don't deploy 5G now, we'll be left behind. The world is growing globally. Everybody must tag along, and including us, we must tag along. If we don't tag along, we'll be left behind. As he has rightly said, 5G has to do with capacity. It's just like size and length. The size of bandwidth or the size of data that goes through certain pipes is determined by the generation of wireless technology that you're using. With 3G, just a practical example, with 3G you could download a 2-hour movie for 6 minutes. With 2G, for 2 hours, with 3G. With 4G, you could do that for 6 minutes. But with 5G, you could do this. You could download the same movie for 3.6 seconds. So the speed that 5G is coming with, just then when we're running on 3G, you could buy 1 gig and use 1 gig for 1 week, at times 1 month. But you can't buy 1 gig and use it for that duration of time. And the reason is because the data that we also generate is growing. And it's growing to the capacity whereby 4G may not be able to. In fact, during the COVID-19 era, it got to a stage where that's at the peak of it. They had to tell certain organizations that are consuming data to reduce the quality of data, that the size of data they are consuming, like Netflix, because people were streaming movies, and when you stream movies, it consumes data. So 4G could no longer hold that capacity. If 5G was to be available then, it would have been a smooth sail. So 5G is necessary at this point, and it is something that we as a country must go out.
All right, let's talk about certain concerns raised all over. And the thinking is that a lot of research is still going on. Can we absolutely say for now that the deployment of 5G is safe? Now, I'm talking about safety generally here. And people are quick to recall that quite recently, even in advanced societies, you had concerns that were raised by aviation experts about the deployment of 5G and a possible interference with the safety signals of a plane. And to the extent that even some airlines decided not to. How do you respond to that?
Now, we should understand the way this spectrum thing works. The altimeter, which is the interference with 5G, the altimeter is running on 4.2 to 4.4 spectrum. Now, the 5G low band, because 5G has 3 bands. There's the low band, there is the mid band, and there is the high band, which is the millimeter band. The one that tends to have interference with the altimeter is the mid band. Now, Nigeria has issued 2 licenses, one to MTN, one to MAFAB Communication. The 2 licenses is between 3,500, 3,600, 3,700, and 3,800, which is not interfering with the 4,200 to 4,400 that the altimeter is making use of. So, looking at it from Nigerians' perspective, we are safe, but that cannot be compared to other countries who will be giving the mid band at 4,200 to 4,400. So they will have to put all that into consideration before issuing certain band to certain company.
But as is usual with everything like this, over time we will grow, and perhaps.
Yes, but the mid band is from 2,000 gigahertz to 6,000. So you can decide to skip the 4,200 to 4,400 and not issue that if you don't want interference. In fact, you can go as far as skipping it from 4,000 to 5,000, because you still have from 5,000 to 6,000, and you still have from 2,000 to 4,000.
Okay,
on
right,
security,
good. Yes.
to be very realistic, our environment is pervaded with, emissions coming from, various transmissions and inclusive broadcasting and communication, where 5G falls. And according to the International, Commission for Non-Ionization and Radiation Prevention, what they have said is that all signals, are they expose us.
All right.
They all expose us. That is why when you go close to your television, TV, your TV set, you get exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the emissions that we even get from TV is higher than that we can even get from the 5G mast, because the mast are smaller.
Because you see, there are worries about
exactly.
radiation and all that.
But this kind of worry preceded even 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. They are always there. But the truth is that the exposure, is it harmful? For anyone to tell you that there is no exposure at all is not completely correct. There is exposure, even from television transmissions. There are exposures, but those exposures are not harmful to human health, and that is what ITU and the International Commission for Non-Ionization and Radiation Prevention have said. So, based on that, I think we are safe as a people.
True, we are. And another concern is that most of us, we are concerned about the health implication, which is good. But there are other aspects of 5G that we should be concerned of.
Right.
The architecture. How was it designed? What are the implications of having it? What are the things that we should look out for? Let's work with the assumption that, yes, we deploy 5G. Does that mean that we are safe? Yet, 5G is running on, 4G ran on SCTP,
okay,
a protocol that tends to have a level of security compared to the protocol that 5G is running on. 5G is running on pure HTTP with TLS. That is running on HTTPS, which is a regular protocol for the regular web that we access.
Okay.
So that means any exposure that our website would have, 5G is also going to have that exposure. So if our website can be attacked and hacked,
good, because
it means that 5G can also. You get, so these are the concerns that we should now. How do we prevent this thing? Because it's not
the ordinary citizen on the streets will say, look, what does that say in simple terms? It means that you're prone
to attack. You're prone to being, you're exposed to being attacked. And we're talking about cyber attacks generally.
Attacks, yeah.
You get, so the protocol that was used to design 5G, the HTTP, it's running on TCP, HTTPS. I think it's a protocol that personally I would not have aligned with.
So faster, but more open to those who want to.
Yeah, what makes it more open is, yes, it's faster, and then it adheres us to wanting to use the internet, stay on the internet. It makes the availability of the internet cheaper, and then the cost of staying on the internet cheaper. So that will make, our behaviors offline always open us to being attacked online.
Okay.
Because some of the things that we do offline, sometimes we give our house addresses away of that kind of thing. Well. And then offline we get attacked. So a lot of social engineering takes place.
All right.
So
people
it
go
will
on
not
and
be
they're
different. Yes.
chilling in XYZ location.
Absolutely.
Out of the house. I'm heading here. I'm doing
absolutely.
this.
So one thing we are going to see is what I call cyber responsibility.
Right.
So we have to be responsible online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's talking about the individual. Now let's begin to look at what are the advantages, concrete terms, and a nation. Yes, we said there are so many things that the country can benefit from. Let's put those things on the table so citizens can see this is the benefit. What is the advantage to the economy, for instance?
Okay, let me take that, Jeff. You know, we have seen speed. Yes, speed is good. What is the essence of having the speed? If speed is the differentiating factor between 4 and 5, you know, what I mean is that in real time, healthcare can be delivered. Okay, in real time, education can be delivered at a cheaper cost. So instead of traveling elsewhere, to traveling abroad to have your education and all of that, you know, and then when we talk about innovation, you know, it's not just the creation of a product, but the ability to create a product that, you know, you can monetize, that can solve or provide solution to the need of the people within and outside. You know, so you can create employment and then ensure, see that the economy, you know, grows, you know, and that, and then for research and development, you know, so all of these are done within a speed that you can refer to as real time, and then most of it all that we all suffer across the globe now, not just Nigeria, security. But though we are going to be so much exposed, but it's going to give us an opportunity to track where insecurities, you know, prevails, you know, because we will be able to, like in Hong Kong, for instance, you know, for certain areas, for certain streets, you know who has come in and who is going out, who lives there and who doesn't live there, in real time, on real time basis. These are the kind of things that we are going to be seeing. It's not a question of you see someone, you don't know where he lives, or you know, all those kind of things. So those kind of numbers, we are going to have them, and security will be much more tackled, you know, in a way that it will help our economy, and then our economy will grow in a different manner, you know, because it's also going to help even our agriculture. You know, it's going to help even if broadcasting is going to take a hit, you know, because if you do not, you know, update your skills, your knowledge, your know-how, then you're going to take a hit. So those are the some of the advantages that are going to come, but I know Jafaru is going to add to
right. Okay, let's
okay. Now, let me start from agriculture that I mentioned.
Yes. Okay.
Now, there's 5G is the driving force behind Internet of Things.
Yes.
And Internet of Things, most devices that are considered to be Internet of Things, that have Internet of Things technology embedded in them, they run with sensors. So let's work with the example that a farmer is in a farm, and he really does not know when to harvest. He does not know the level of the exposure that the plant or what he has planted is exposed to, or the soil texture. Now, an Internet of Things device can be planted like a seed inside, and will be able to extract data will be able to analyze the soil texture and get the actual data, that the actual texture, and send it over via cloud to the farmer. And the farmer would know that, okay, yeah, this is the texture of the soil. Okay, can I plant now, or should I wait for another time? You get, talking about education, it's going to bring about virtual reality and augmented reality, where somebody you don't need to find yourself in class, but you can be at your home and be in class. I'm not talking about via internet now. I'm talking about you being at home, but with your virtual reality eyeglass, you are in class and you are sitting right beside your friend. And both of you can be discussing as though he's actually beside you, and your teacher is in front of you, and you'll be seeing your teacher moving left and right and explaining things. Meanwhile, you are in front, you are in your home, your house. So it's going to go deep. Now, talking about security, talking about the drones. Drones are going to be everywhere because it's going to be influenced when there are drone technology grows now at this space that drones technology when a drone is flying, there are certain place it gets to that you won't be able to control it. Now it goes on autonomous, and when it goes on autonomous, that means it becomes an unmanned vehicle. When it becomes that, it means that a system has taken over. What's that system? Internet. It has taken over, and you begin to control the drone via the internet. And it does not matter where the drone is, you can control the drone. And if you want to use that you can send drone ahead of you while the military guys are behind. So the drones will be the one telling them, okay, we have bandits here and we don't have bandits here. So it has a whole lot of advantage, and it cuts across all industry. It's not secluded to a particular industry. Now, one thing I would need to mention here is that 5G is coming with a feature that is called network slicing. Network slicing is the ability for you to run your own network on another network. You run a logical network on a physical network. That means you can practically be your own MTN. Using MTN, for example. You can approach MTN and tell MTN that, hello, I want you to give me a part of your network. And anywhere there is network, the police can use that to monitor policemen. Wherever they are, as long as MTN network is there, they can monitor their transaction. They can monitor what they are doing. So it's a technology that tends to, as it stands, it's the best apart from all those security implications and all that. But so far so good, it's good.
All right, we'll explore some of these things further in further detail. But for now, we have reports that will go along with our discussion here in the studio. And let's begin to take the very first one. This is coming from Lagos, and it's by Annie Daniels.
For that 5G, they said it will be more faster than 4G, and I think 100 times faster.
We all know that 5G network is Baba, not the 4G network. Because the way we are going in, technology is going now. After very soon now, we are going to have like microwaves that we using, we can operate on this thing, on our device. Just like what you see, that if you have a problem with your issue, you can operate your motor, your vehicle on your device, that you stop it, that nothing will happen.
It's like an edge to create more technology aspects, like in terms of health sectors, in terms of security, in terms of other aspects that can actually solve so many issues that we have.
A lot of things are out there that help online because there are other people putting them there. So there are people who help them, and the 5G, it just serves as a way to improve the results.
A cross-section of Lagosians there relaying their knowledge about the 5G network. They also have fears.
The rate at which humanity is improving technology is at an absurd rate. Eventually, most of the things we are doing now, it will probably not be happening again.
It's like what?
Like even the reporting they are doing, they could probably just send a drone and they can be speaking through speakers, and there will be no need for a reporter anymore.
Because it's going to collect more jobs from people.
The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Ntalive, had informed Nigerians that the deployment of 5G network will play a vital role in improving the security situation in the country. This, he says, will be achieved by harnessing the potential of digital technology, such as artificial intelligence, robotics, among others, aimed at exploring real-time information for maximum efficiency.
5G does not denature the human deoxyribonucleic acid. It doesn't have any side effects because it falls under non-ionizing radiation. What will you use to convince people that 5G network does not have any side effects? You use what I'm holding here, that is called electromagnetic spectrum.
My respondents all agree that the 5G network will enhance transparency and economic development, but insist that more awareness should be created to allay the fears of Nigerians.
All right, from Lagos, we go over to Jos. We have another report coming from Jos, and this one is by Bilkisu Nuhu.
Of the fifth generation network 5G approved by the federal government for improved connectivity is an upgrade of the 4G, which gives greater optimization of network traffic and handling of usage spike. A combination of speed and network capacity will give room for large amounts of data to be transmitted in fraction of seconds.
It will definitely come with changes. It will come with inventions, and some of the inventions we are going to start witnessing is virtual reality.
The whole idea of the generation or the 5G is to increase speed of transmission of data and information across the network or across the internet.
Will deliver up to maybe 1,000 more capacity than that of the 4G, creating a very good fertile ground for Internet of Things, whereby you have facilities connecting themselves to each other.
5G will allow some of the applications like driverless cars. Speed is what we're expecting now. It's the fastest and robust network we have ever seen in the future of humanity.
Technology experts note that the network will be faster, support new applications for investment, innovation and competition, and also save time.
Nigerians have nothing to worry about. There's nothing that will happen to anyone. There's no any threatening health issue that we should be worried about.
Sectors such as health, education, agriculture, manufacturing and logistics will also benefit from lower latency of the 5G, while sporting and news events will have increased coverage. The experts urge consumers and businessmen to key into the 5th generation network because of its enormous benefits.
All right, we've seen those reports. I'd like to go back a bit to something we touched on, although briefly. It has to do with security and privacy. Yes, with 5G, as the experts have said to us, we can increase our capacity for monitoring and surveillance, but that also works in another way as well, where the citizens, the ordinary citizens, are under constant surveillance, and people worry about that loss of privacy. I mean, right now, you go to anywhere, as long as you have a smartphone, it can begin to tell you the history of everywhere you have been and just about everything you've done. People are worried about that intrusion kind of into their privacy. Wouldn't that be more with 5G, with particularly what people always do not like, governments and administrations monitoring their private affairs?
Okay, now, when it has to do with monitoring, there are areas that monitoring can take place. For example, as I use the case of using drone now, you can't use drone and begin to monitor the city where everybody they probably are doing their daily activities. But you can start to use drone to monitor the forest and also monitor places like the Sambisa forest where you know that there are high level of insecurity. And this would be known by everyone, and everyone would definitely agree to the fact that yes, drone will be needed to ensure that yes, certain things are seen in action and in real time. Yeah, but notwithstanding, privacy is a concern. Everybody would want to ensure that they have a level of privacy. But even with that, we would have to draw the line between security and privacy. Would we want us to be insecure because we don't want the government to look at us or look at what we're doing, or would we prefer to do whatsoever we're doing and allow the government to monitor what they need to do in terms of monitoring and getting the information that they would need? Then another thing is, he mentioned the case of surveillance, facial recognition, and all that. Now, in the case of facial recognition, that is not something that, as it stands now, we can implement, and the reason is because we don't have while we have NIMC that's supposed to give us a centralized database, it is not. It does not feature the necessary inputs with updates, deletes, and all the necessary mechanism that makes it an effective and efficient database. We only get people adding their names. Going there to modify your name takes time. Now, even after modifying your name, it's not looking at the numbers of Nigerians that are yet to register. It will be difficult for us to now implement a facial recognition system, especially in places like airport, because you can't put it in a private property. It has to be in a public property, in a public location like airport, market, where you know that, yes, for security persons, is the best place to catch some of these guys, because you know fully well that they can't do without moving, traveling, they can't do without eating. These are places where you know that you can always get this person. So if you are putting it strategically, nobody would mind. But when you now begin to say you want to now begin to implement monitoring and surveillance in private properties and things that tends to be private, then there will definitely be issues, and the public will always come out to say, no, we don't want that.
Let's look at the other. Oh, okay, let's go ahead.
Just to add to what he said, because he spoke very brilliantly. You know, the issue of privacy, like he said, you have to put a dividing line between privacy and security. And on the issue of monitoring, what are you monitoring? Is it the land, the cars, areas mapped? If those are the areas you want to monitor, yes, you can monitor. But if it's to monitor the activities of people online, there are laws that allow government to monitor certain people if suspected.
I am looking here at certain individual freedoms, for instance, where what you do may not constitute a breach of the law, but maybe much needed information as to profile you. Those are the things I'm talking about, individual freedoms. You want to communicate with your friend.
To be private
freedom
online.
of, what will it do to freedom of speech, for instance?
Okay, so to be private online, you have to ensure that your private affairs does not get online. If you put your private issues online, it's like a market square. So you have already put yourself, at that level. Okay, so on the issue of the freedom of information, what is offensive offline must be offensive online. So don't think you are online and therefore whatever you do, you can do whatever you like online. If you know that offline you cannot call someone any name, you can't go online and do the same thing, because 2005, I think Nigeria passed the cyber security law. That also make that offensive. That is so. If you can commit such laws against individuals,
okay,
yeah. So now, we are managed.
All right. Now that's this other aspect that I'm looking at as well, and that has to do with the deployment of technology. And we all just know that nothing is foolproof. You mentioned in your opening statements that yes, there'd be, cases of being more open with 5G to cyber attacks and things like that. I am also looking at very crucial parts of a country's administration and certain activities that are key in determining how to deploy resources, demographics and all that. Now, take something like the registration of Nigerians with a national identity number. You would, of course, know that recently there's been a huge challenge because NIMC is... Yes. Now, how open is 5G technology to glitches like this, especially when you embrace them, you deploy them, and you use them for all these laudable things you have talked about? And
I think we should understand 5G. 5G is an enhancement on 4G. So it's not a different technology or a robot that will do things differently. It only enhances those things that we used to do with 4G.
Good. So if you're prone to glitches and attacks,
yes,
you can expect that the same thing will be happening with the deployment of 5G.
So you have to be responsible online.
That's that's the next part we are going to, because you talked about it earlier on. You said cyber responsibility. We'll keep that in one small corner and return to it. Yes.
Okay. Now we should understand that beyond just the enhancements of 4G that 5G did, it also comes with new feature, and I mentioned one of it being the network slicing. Okay. There is also 5G also offers a new kind of service that is more of like, it's called ultra reliability and ultra reliable and low latency. Now, ultra reliable means that it is more reliable than 5G, than 4G, sorry. You get, and it also has what's called machine type communication. That means machine and machine can communicate with each other. You get, now, talking about the challenge that you mentioned, if because we are running 4G, meanwhile, we should understand that what happened to NIMS's server has nothing to do with 4G, 5G.
No, I'm just using this as an example.
As long as internet connectivity is concerned, if running on 5G is more reliable than running on 4G based on certain technology and based on the architecture that it was used to design it. I thought it was earlier on that one of the architecture that was embedded in 4G was running it on a protocol called SCTP. Now, we know fully well that HTTP is a reliable protocol but vulnerable. It is a very, very reliable. In fact, it is HTTP that we've been using to browse our websites since 2000.
Most times you want to browse and you're told when you say it's HTTP, don't go only for HTTPS.
Yes, there's no security that is foolproof. Okay, so you have to guide yourself against, being online. I always say that because, you have heard where even the MD and CEO, the founder of Amazon, was hacked. I used to say it's not, we was not sophisticated enough.
Right.
So it is just your attitude offline that can make your online so vulnerable.
And so as you mentioned earlier on, as you advance in technology to use things to improve lives, same thing the criminals to keen into those things.
In fact, there is a saying in the an ideology in the cybersecurity community that it seems as though that bad technology are advancing more than good technology. Right. You get, so it's not. It even looks as though that it is the invent of bad technology that makes good technology is trying to catch up with bad technology.
And in addition to that, states clearly that you have not been hacked
does not
means that you are waiting to be hacked.
Yeah, there are two categories of persons. There are two categories of persons or two categories of companies. There are companies that have been hacked.
Yes.
Then there are companies or persons that will be hacked. So there is no option for will not or you will not.
Absolutely.
It's either you have been or you will be. So it is a sure thing because of the fact that these things they are technology and they are human developed, human driven. So because we can't consider everything we do to be perfect. There will definitely be loopholes and people are there to exploit those loopholes.
So I go back to the one we said we'll just keep aside of, and that's the cyber responsibility you spoke about. Now, access to the internet, access to smart gadgets has helped to increase the level of, if you like, irresponsibility in so many areas and criminality as well. Take, for instance, the issue of fake news. Take, for instance, why it's possible using modern technology, things that are seen now as deep fakes, for instance, where You talked about virtual reality. I could be home and attending lectures somewhere. And right now, deepfakes makes it almost impossible for you to decipher what is real and what is not real. This very program we're on, some smart people are capable of taking us out of the studio, locating us somewhere in a market square, and it would be real and believable.
Yes, yeah.
With better communication, faster, access, big,
High speed.
unimaginable speeds.
Much of that is going to happen.
Right.
Okay.
What is our protection?
Yes, this is the way I always look at it when it comes to cyber responsibility. I don't care what the leftists will say. I will always take the side of regulating the social media. Because as a journalist and as one who is also a social commentator and doing a lot of things with technology, and I've also traveled and see so many countries, if you do not regulate your cyber space and keep your value system and tell the social networks how you want to portray yourself, how you want to be portrayed as a country, and then you just allow your people because of freedom of speech, where your freedom stops is where another starts. Therefore, there must be a regulation. As we speak, if you go to Dubai, you still cannot do WhatsApp call, but we enjoy Dubai. There are certain, the kind of CNN or BBC you see there is different from the one we watch. If you go to China, the same thing. Are they progressing? They are progressing. But the truth is that it's not like you stifle development or you stifle people's speech. But there are certain things that are ingrained in you as a people, as a country, that if you do not take care of those things and you just leave it open, a 5-year-old child who had access to, a smartphone can do whatever he or she wants to do, But I also have an experience, that my son in the US took a phone to the school, a smartphone, and the phone was seized. But here in Nigeria, you see kids of 7, 8, 9 years old going about with smartphone. When you go about with smartphone, then parenting becomes an issue, because you may be talking to your child and another person who is somewhere will be a better parent to your child without you knowing it. So cyber responsibility is key, is very, very key. If we are not responsible offline and not responsible online, and then there's no way we can say that the things we are doing, will not be hacked or our images will not be distorted.
All right. Well, still related to that, let's look at the question of interagency synergy in order to be able to reap the benefits of 5G. What type of collaboration and synergy would you have? And then again, the other aspect of an interface. Right now, we're doing so many things online. We have cut down delay periods. You mentioned that businesses government business, private businesses can be enhanced. Yes. But we still have issues when one agency needs to supply much needed data and information to another agency, and it takes a long time, and people are thinking, hey, aren't we talking about just a button here and things move?
Yes, because we have not fully integrated e-government into our system.
Right. And then the laws too that set up such agencies, may not allow them to quickly pass information.
Yeah, if e-governance is the only solution. Let me speak for myself. It is the only solution to delay. Because if an agency is supposed to send another agency something, physically, out of the network, out of the cyber domain, there are many reasons why that message would not go. But if it is in the cyber domain, the only reason why it will not go will be network, and it can be tracked. We'll check it. Is it truly a network issue?
Right.
So e-governance is the only solution. In fact, it is the solution that we need as a country. It is the solution that we need as a country to solve all aspects of corruption, in fact, reduce corruption to the barest minimum, putting in e-governance in place where you know that everything that everyone does can be tracked, where you know that one director would not hold your file in his desk for 30 days. You get? But knowing fully well that if it is running via an e-governance application, it will be shown on the director's queue that file was there for 30 days. So he should explain the reason why the file is there for 30 days. Files would not go missing. Why? Because it is in an e-governance application. You get? When you integrate e-governance into the system, and with the help of 5G now, the speed is anything you want to do, as long as intergovernment relations and intergovernment agencies relations is concerned, it's going to be a smooth sail. But as long as there is no e-government, even though let us have 5G, if there is no e-governance application, it's going to take time.
All right. Here am I, ordinary folk, ordinary citizen, and the tendency is to believe that with the deployment of 5G, many of the challenges I face with using the 4G technology on my smartphones would be gone. Speed, efficiency. Is that really true?
Technology is just technology. It depends on how you use it and what you use it for. Okay, but the truth is, it will also come with its own challenges.
Right.
And those challenges, we come from creating new economy, to create new industries. It will require new skills. Like you said, e-government. That is people to people, government to people, and people to government.
And government to government.
And government to government.
Right.
So all of this must be, interwoven, using technology. So those are the things that we need to do, in addition to creating new jobs and then eliminating old jobs. Those are the things we should be ready for. Much of the old jobs are going to go away, like driving, for instance. Secretary, those kind of things. A lot of them are going to go, So a new economy is going to
unfold. Right, I'd be setting the stage for what people predicted many years ago, and that robots, we talked about this enhancing robotics, and robots will take over at some point in time.
Sadly, the prediction was not supposed to be coming now, but the COVID-19 is now making it possible. By 2025, it should start. In fact, in some countries, they've started using robots to do certain things. So we should expect it. We can't. This is not something you pray away. It's something you eat. You should expect it. So once it comes, you should know what you should do. But you can't run away from this one. Most jobs are going to be lost as a result of this, because 5G would power robots. It has the capacity to power robotics. You get both the humanoid robots, that means the robot that is like human, and machine robots. You get, we already have, we've started seeing replica, like there is a robot that was called Sophia, and was given citizenship in Saudi Arabia. So humans wants to go to Saudi Arabia, they don't have citizens, but a robot now has citizens. So these are the kind of things we should expect. And this robot can interact with you, talk to you, think for you, discuss with you. And because they are built with artificial intelligence and machine learning, they have the capacity to learn. So when probably they see you today, and next they've not seen you for a couple of years, the next time they see you, they will recognize you.
Yeah.
And they will know, I saw you. Yeah. So
Sophia has the capacity to respond, to ask you questions about your personal life. You can ask. It's not like it's programmed in programming. There's what we call it's straight programming and then branch instruction kind of. So Sophia is able to respond to questions, not even programmed within a structure.
Because you mentioned that as well, that 5G will enhance AI, artificial intelligence. And, this is just part of what we're going on.
It will. It will enhance AI tools. I feel for those that will lose their job. No, truth be told, many persons will lose their job. And this is not a generation where you work hard. It's a generation where you work smart. Because the hard jobs will be taken.
There's a difference between working hard and working smart.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
The hard jobs will be taken by robots.
Now, still on the economy, banking and finance, how will the deployment of 5G enhance business activities, banking and financial services?
That is a very sweet one. We already seen what is going to unfold. In another 5 to 10 years, we are going to see much banking activities, but less of banks. We already see people on the roadside who are already banks. You can deposit money, you can withdraw money, you can even borrow money. What does a bank do? Banking services will be available online and offline, much more online. But the issue of bank as an edifice is going to reduce very drastically because of 5G and the technology that will allow us, fintech is going to be the order of the day. We are seeing what is already happening, Flutterwave, Paystack, and all of that. We saw OPay just about 2 weeks ago. The consolidation of OPay was more than 2 big banks in Nigeria together. That is just a fintech. So a lot of things are going to happen. When he said old jobs, or a lot of jobs are going to go, but new jobs will be created. That's why I said we need new skills.
For this, all right, yes. That's just the point. Yes. New jobs, but that would require new skills.
New skills.
Okay.
Yes, to stay afloat. So old jobs. For instance, if you are a driver, you now have to go and learn how to. For instance, maybe if it's digital marketing, you want to learn, okay? Because time to come, not 5 years to come. In some places, you can see cameramen. Robots can do the job of a cameraman. So,
we take a short break here. When we return, hopefully our phone lines will be open and then you can get to be part of this very interesting discussion. Stay with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We'll be back shortly after this break.
I am more than just an idea. I am alive, connected. I am part of an ecosystem, creating connections within an interactive and sustainable city. I am intentional about excellence, integrity, and efficiency. I am invested in building a sustainable future. I am committed to strategic partnerships and collaborations. I can be tough, and I can be tender. I take pride in delivering high standards. While there may be others, I am in a league of my own. I am more than just an idea. I am Bilal. Who are you?
157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportations. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause.
NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Thanks for staying with us. It's all about the deployment of 5G. That's the issue we're examining today on NTA Tuesday Live. And this is the segment where you can get to be part of the discussion in the studio. The phone numbers are going to be on your screens. We encourage you to take advantage of them. However, let's remind you that if you call in and your call gets through to the studio, do us a favor, turn down the volume of your TV set so as to avoid the hurlback or echo. We also like to encourage you to go straight to the point. Don't bother too much about the greetings. An ordinary hello would do. Just go straight to the point and make it short and simple so others can also get on the platform. Remember, if you spend too much time on the hellos, you might just experience a dropped call. And 5G is not in there yet. So we like to encourage you to go straight to the point and keep it short. Now, the numbers will be on your screens and you can be part of the discussion, and whatever issues you raise, our guests here will address them. For now, let's start off with this report from Enugu by Eukaria Ugu.
Advancement in mobile cellular networks has been evolved from first generation to the fourth generation. However, the current global wireless standard is phasing out to usher in the next generation. As a result, the evolution of 5G has been raising dust with many unverified claims of danger in the social media windows, such as causing of coronavirus, damaging the DNA in the body cells, and leading to cancer, amongst other speculations. Although some of these speculations have been the existing possible effects of every radioactive rays when the user is exposed to it without proper precautionary measures, while issues of the causing COVID-19 is out of it. The 5G network is a new kind of global network that is designed to connect virtually everyone and everything, including machines, objects, and devices. The greatest advantages of 5G is that it is the combination of speed, responsiveness, and reach, which could unlock the full capabilities of other trends in technology, offering a boost to self-driving cars, drones, virtual reality, and internet skills, where a surgery can be conducted without the surgeon being physically present.
Businesses and organizations will work more efficiently deploying and using the 5G capability. And I think that is one attractive thing that will make businesses embrace this as soon as possible. And then, of course, it can increase network capacity up to 40 times what 4G can do now.
What is the 5G all about? Is internet being faster. If you want to download, if you want to upload all those what do you call it, wireless radio transmission, all those things being faster.
Meanwhile, experts say 5G network, like other cellular networks, use a system of cell sites that divide territory into sectors, and send encoded data through radio spectrum.
And we have our very first caller on the line now, Buba, calling in from Kaduna. Hello, Buba.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead with a question or comment.
Sir, I'd like to ask, with the introduction of 5G, now robots will be dominating our space. Don't you think it will affect internally generated incomes into the economy, to affect us directly our income and economy as well? Also wanted to ask, now with the introduction of 5G, don't you see incorporating it into our school curricula is very, very vital and prominent, so that another generation will be brought into our country. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Straight away, yes, concerns about the personal income and, of course, school curriculum.
For those who would be affected, as regards personal income, they should begin to look at the future, learning skills that would not be affected or that would be needed. Yet, so once one is able to learn new skills that will be needed in the dispensation of this 5G, because research already going on for 6G. If we are not aware, research already going on for 6G. So if we learn new skills that aligns with the old, because 5G is a new dispensation, entirely, completely different from 4G downward, because this dispensation now is more of digital. So you need whatsoever skill you want to acquire, ensure largely let it be digital based. That's one of the things that will make you relevant at this point. Once you've been able to acquire skills that is digital based, you will always have your income will always be flowing. In fact, it's going to flow more, because now you're not dealing with just Nigerians. You're dealing with people at a global scale, and someone from Pakistan, from UK, from US can give you a job. Then in the area of integration, we don't need to integrate 5G into curriculum. What we need to integrate is cybersecurity.
Right.
We need cybersecurity should be a subject right from primary school. Everybody needs to be aware of how these guys work, how one is exposed to an attack, what are the social engineering techniques, what are the attacking techniques, what are vulnerabilities, in what form does vulnerability comes. The curriculum for cybersecurity awareness is broad, and one reason why I think it must be integrated is because the curriculum it's not supposed to be a one-time thing.
Okay.
The skill, the way you are attacked today is completely different from the way you'll be attacked tomorrow.
All right, back to the phone lines. We have Hassan from Kanu. Hello, Hassan. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
My
evening.
name is Hassan Adam, calling from Kano. Please, I want to ask the guests as to how will 5G enhance and promote literacy development in Nigeria? I'm talking from the aspect of adult education. Because as we are going into globalization, new ages of technology and what have you, we still have people in Nigeria that cannot read and write. We still have people that live in the rural areas that don't know anything about 2, 3G, 4G, not to even talk of 5G. So how will these people be brought into the whole picture to, take the benefit and then use it to enhance the level of literacy in the country?
Right.
So this is my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Gabi.
Thank you for the fascinating question. We're just smiling, to your question. This is where I will give it up for the government of the day. The government of the Muhammadu Buhari, and then the minister, and then NIDA and NCC. They are doing quite a lot in this area, and They've even set up an academy for digital skills, so or for digital migration. If you're a mechanic and then you want to now migrate to digital skills, there is an academy for that already. In fact, in most cases, those trainings are free. And then on the other one of education, I think both has to go, side by side. And let me give you some hope. 5G is not a launch. It's a process. It's not something that you just press a button and then 5G is everywhere. Because of cost, the mast, it requires a number. In fact, the recent research states that US alone will require minimum of 1 million masts. I do not see any African country that can afford, or I've not seen any country anywhere in the world that afford a complete launch, within a week. So it's a gradual launch. It's a gradual process, growth. So it's not something that will happen today and then in the next 5 years, then everyone is, is a robot.
Okay, so there's for concerns of people with adult education, talked about people who cannot read or write, and things are moving in such a dizzying speed.
Within 5 years to ensure that you learn, be part of the adult education so that you can gradually migrate into the digital realm. Yes, someone said we are going into globalization. We are already in globalization, so we're already there, So there's no fear. Ensure that, like my colleague here said, digital skills, don't joke with it. Even if it's water you are going to sell, how do you sell water using WhatsApp? How do you sell water using Facebook? How do you sell akara using Instagram? Those are the things that it's not like you go back to school to go and learn the 6 and 1, the zeros and ones and all of that. So no, you can just incorporate, the mind, to change your mindset, rethink your thinking in such a way that, you are within the digital line.
Okay, our next caller is Olukoya from Ogun State. Hello, go right ahead with your question. Hello, Olukoya from Ogun State. Go ahead.
Yeah, concerning the network speed, we are going into the 5G network now, but most Nigerians, and now particularly about Nigerians, the 4G we are even talking about, the speed of the browsing is is not that fast compared to other parts of the world. So my question is now, what is the federal government and other parastatals concerned doing to even make that one even faster, now that we're now talking about the 5G network?
All right, that's a question. Okay. Good, I'm sure you heard that. Even with the 4G, what he says is that in other parts of the world, this 4G is even faster than what we have here. What's the guarantee that the 5G will be like the 5G elsewhere?
Well, the reason why it seems as though 4G is faster in other parts of the world is the implementation, is the way we implement it here, or the way that the guide the country has put in place for implementation. It allows certain things that other parts of the world would not allow. You get so, but 5G is completely different. The implementation plan for 5G requires you replacing most of the equipments. The reason why it seems our speed for 4G is not fast compared to other parts of the world is majorly equipment. Actually, you get. But 5G, it means that you can upgrade a 3G equipment and it will give you a 4G signal. You can upgrade a 2G equipment and it will give you a 3G signal. But for 5G, you can upgrade a 4G to give you 5G signal. So what you need is complete replacement. And with that, it means that you will get the speed that it requires, that it wants to push.
So because that has always been a concern. What you have now.
What I'd like to quickly add to that is that, we have 4G LTE, so the capacity is still largely in Lagos. the shores of Lagos, But to bring that capacity from Lagos to Maiduguri, that is to the last mile service. So you need to dig the fiber optic and all of that, or the ground and all of that. So there are a lot of governmental issues, political issues, economic issues, social issues that are involved in taking the cable from Lagos to Enugu, taking the cable from Lagos to Maiduguri. Where you don't have the cable, you are going to have a slower, experience. So it does not shorten it from being a 4G, but it's just that the capacity that you have where you live is not the same capacity as those who live in Abuja, Port Harcourt, or Lagos.
Okay, back to the phones. We have Evans calling in from Imo State. Hello, Evans. Your question or comment? Go ahead.
Good evening, my good people.
Good evening.
My question is this. I have had many thoughts over these 5G networks. Since last year, I started having the thoughts over these 5G networks. And I had someone here says that with this 5G network, a robot can do a job of a cameraman. Please, my question there is that how possible is that? And what is the benefit? What are we going to benefit from the 5G networks, we Nigerians?
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, sadly, it's very possible for robots to do the job of a cameraman. It's very, very possible. If robots can interact with human, then it means that robots can take the job of a cameraman. All the robot just needs is the skill programmed into it. Once the robot has the required skill that the cameraman knows, knowing how to zoom and zoom in and zoom out, put in settings, balance, do the white balancing and all that. All these things are programmable. You can program it into a robot. The robot must not even be human, or the robot can be mechanical. You get, as long as the robot knows what to press and what not to press, they can do the job of a cameraman. You get, the camera itself can have artificial intelligence built into it. It can run its own operating system. Yeah, so that's possible. The benefits of 5G, they are enormous. But key into it is what we are advocating now. Let us key into these benefits. One of it is enhanced mobile broadband. 5G is going to ensure that you have speed, high internet speed. What you do with it is now left for you. Then it's going to bring forth a whole lot of innovations into different industry, and that even includes even the publishing industry. There's going to be a whole lot of innovations. Now, the man that programs the robot, it is a man that programs the robot.
That's a job.
Yeah, that's a job. Yeah, so it is shifting the attention from the cameraman to the programmer. Yet, so now it means that we as individuals, we need to now start looking at how to shift our ideology and our thinking capacity, and also the way we look at jobs generally, because it's changing.
Okay. Elijah is calling in from Akwa Ibom. Hello, Elijah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Oh, please, my question is, what are the skills that this digital 5G will affect? Because I'm a skilled man, and I really want to know, because I'm a driver, I really want to know how this 5G will affect driving, because it has made mention of driving. So I really want him to mention the skill job that this 5G will affect, so that I will know my move for now. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Elijah.
There was one who mentioned that.
Good. All right.
It is very true. It's going to replace driving, because we are going to have autonomous cars. What's going to happen is just the same thing that's going to happen to the cameraman. The cameraman can become, maybe tomorrow, content creator. Go and learn how to create content with your camera rather than being a cameraman. So if you are a driver today, go and learn how to be an assistant to the man you drive or the woman you drive rather than being a driver, because the car is going to drive itself tomorrow. There's no two ways about it. So you just need new skills to live in the new world we are creating. That's it.
And sorry, to add to that, sadly, it's going to also, there's going to be a high level of, it's going to reduce accidents, because there's what's called connected cars, and 5G is going to ensure that happens. And what's connected cars? Connected cars is where my car is coming from this junction, your car is coming from that junction. They are sending signal. They know the speed they are moving at. They know the pace at which they are moving at. They are sending signal to the cloud, and they can calculate to know that if they move at this speed, that there's going to be a collision. So one of it will be forced to hold brake. That thing, you would not know who's coming from this. And even though it's an angle that you are not seeing, as long as you're not seeing that angle, you won't know as human. But the system has a way of communicating to the cloud that all cars can be connected in the cloud, and they know when to hold brake and when not to hold brake, just to avoid accidents.
So that reduces cost of operation. Okay. If you have so many as a haulage, company owner, yes, so it reduces cost of operation.
All right, back to the phones. Agu calling in from Port Harcourt. Hello, Agu, go ahead.
Evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Agu Ihanyichuku, calling from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead.
You know that we belong to the Orthodox community. So let them be patient with me. I'll ask so many questions. One, you have so trusted this year 5G technology to solve all our problems. We have had 2G, 3G, 4G. Now, what is the magic that this 5G can do to eradicate or reduce all manners of insecurity? There are ghost workers in all sectors of the economy. Can 5G expose and eliminate those workers? 3, today we have problems of age falsification in all parts, including sports. There are people who are over 70 years of age that are still in service. And then I want to ask, how can this technology expose the culprits? In politics, currently there are arguments on politicians on the age discrepancy. How can this be used to disqualify politicians who are one age and talking of another age? Finally, in Rivers State, today we have this suit coming from illegal refining. How can then this illegal refining has got a family something, a family problem, a family business? How can those who are doing this, they cannot be exposed, they're untouchable? How can this 5G expose and these people reduce them and then treat them and then prosecute them and expose them so that we have free air? This suit is bringing cancer and death to people residents of River State. We are dying here. What is happening? How can this 5G help us? Thank you and God bless you. I'm on the community. That's why I'm talking too much.
All right. Okay. Agu, very pertinent questions. For those who might think that the coming deployment of 5G is a magic wand that will just immediately everything goes off. But I believe that the question in here for him is, what can 5G, the deployment of 5G, do to enhance accurate data and proper records? Because he talked about ghost workers, people who are guilty of age falsification. Yes. So all this will have to be in managing data and management generally. How can 5G?
Javaru, what I would like to say before Javaru comes in here is just to say that 5G is not a software that will manage or human manager software. So I think he's misunderstanding
the concept of 5G.
Yes, the concept of 5G. So I'm lacking to understand that the software or human managing software or administrative software is different from 5G as a telecommunication tool. So that is what it is. I know by now there are softwares across different government agencies that manages either time, who comes to work and who does, or efficiency and all of those things. So those already exist. But if it's not managed or utilized efficiently, it has to do with the person who is at the back end, and then the manager who supervises the man at the back end. So it's not the fault of a 5G or 4G or 3G or 2G or CDMA as the case may be.
All right. So
okay.
What we're thinking here is for you to emphasize here once again the use of 5G technology for all these wonderful things like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, is all in the long run dependent on what you bring.
We have to just prepare right now. It's like I said, it's not a button.
Yes.
We have to prepare now. See, content creation has become a new industry. That is, for instance, some of these young guys you see on online, they make as little as $1,000 per week, $5,000 per week. Some make as much as $20,000 per month. So you can just use your phone, learn how to create this thing, and then learn how to upload, tag properly, get the views that you are supposed to get, and then you earn money from that. So that is just it. It's not something you should be afraid of. I think government has taken the right step. It's something that when it finally comes, fully, all of us are going to benefit. No one is going to go hungry or be afraid.
All right. Back to the phones. We have Yahoo from Kebbi State calling in. Hello, Yahoo. Go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yes. Go ahead.
As I say, I'm I'm calling from Kebbi State, Koku.
Yeah.
From what I heard, let's say from Jafaru, he's talking about the wiring, that is the piping from Lagos to Maiduguri or something else. Can't the world that think about this 5G something to do something without every day carving our land, our soil from here, we are wasting all these pipes and wires and everything. They should do something digitally that will not enhance all these things to avoid all these things. From Maiduguri digging ground, from Maiduguri to Lagos, from Lagos to Abuja and everywhere like that. Why can't they think of positive thing to do in replace of that thing? Hence they talk about they do this in 5G to enhance things. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry.
All right.
If I get his question correctly, he's concerned about the land that has been digged, and he wants something that that can be
alternative
done
to
fiber optic. The alternative to fiber optic will not give you the speed that fiber optic will give you. You get there is reliability, stability, durability, and also capacity. You get so fiber optic has the capacity to transmit high numbers of data per second compared to when you want to run it via wireless, because or you want to use wireless. If you want to use radio has its capacity.
Yes. Okay.
Radio cannot go beyond certain distance. So we can for 5G to be effective, it needs to be done via wired, and it will involve digging and moving the data from one location to another. Sadly, that's the best solution.
Okay.
Unless we want to use the communication satellite.
All right.
ComSat would have interference. Yes. It will have interference. So.
All right. Let's go back to the phones now. Emmanuel calling in from Akwa Ibom. Hello, Emmanuel. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Okay, I'm a telecoms engineer. I've worked in the telecom sector for the past 11 years. So I would like to share something with you. I think we are missing the point with regards to the crux of the matter. 5G is not going to change anything going on digitally in the world. Your skills that were required for you to migrate to digital activities will still be there. So getting trained to do the basics of all the activities people are encouraging you to do now, changing jobs, have always been there. 5G is only increasing the speed of the network. That's the main issue. The speed of the network is what 5G is increasing because of the frequency of the signals. Whatever you're doing to improve your digital economy has always been there, it will always be there. And now the crux of the matter with the 5G has to do with the fact that 5G has 3 levels, which nobody wants to talk about. There's the low level, there's the mid level, and there's the high level. Now, there's no regulatory framework that regulates how we switch from low to mid to high. I work with this, when I climb to the mast to handle any radio, you understand? I do what my boss tells me to do. So we can keep switching from low to mid to high without anybody knowing what we are doing. Now, the danger part, the dangerous range of the 5G is the high range. That's the high range that people are talking about. That high range emits frequencies that are harmful to humans. The mid-range emits frequency that interface with radio frequency, the radios of airlines when airlines want to land. As of yesterday, Wisconsin in the U.S. became the 37th state, 37 states in the U.S. are suspending 5G rollouts because the mid-range of 5G is affecting the planes that are trying to land. You can Google that. 37. Wisconsin is the latest. The mid-range of 5G is affecting the radios that pilots use. That communication attenuator, that's what they call it. Attenuator of airlines send signals to the traffic controller. So if you're sitting in the traffic controller point and you're using the radar to check the planes about to land, that signal that the plane sends out to you, okay, is running on a frequency that is the same mid-range of a 5G. So if you have a 5G within 10 kilometers around an airport, that plane will not show on the radar. So that's a regulatory challenge that the U.S. is battling with now. So even the people rolling out the technology are also new to the challenges that they are going to face. And they are shutting it down. There's nothing wrong with jumping on the bandwagon to try and implement this. I've been in 9 countries, and whenever we go on training on these things, they talk to us about it. But the problem is that the people at the top taking decisions don't really ask for technical information. Our bosses who send us for training did not come for the training with us. We are the ones in the field going for the training. Our bosses up there who just sit down there and think the 3G and 4G are the same like the 5G. They come back and say, how was the training? We tell them, fine, but sir, this is an issue. Say, no, the president doesn't want to hear that. Or the director general doesn't want to hear that. They don't want anything that is going to scare them. Okay, so now the thing we need to talk about is we should go through the National Assembly. Let's have a public hearing. Let the regulatory authorities look at the details. What is the rollout going to be like? And for information, we're not digging any ground for the 5G. We already have optical fibers that do the connections. The 5G is just the quality of the radio. Nothing else changes. The quality of the radio signals sent out. If you see the pictures, Google the antennas of 3G and 4G. You see it's different from the 5G. When I go up there to go and work, I will switch signals based on what my boss says. And there's no regulatory agency that can see when I'm switching from the low frequency to the mid or to the high. Now the high is capable of, the high frequency is capable of harming humans. You can check that out. Everybody knows the high range of the 5G is capable of harming humans because it is higher in frequency than an X-ray.
Okay.
It is higher in frequency than an X-ray. So we are encouraged to maintain the low range of the 5G and not even go to the mid-range. But you know, when it is rainy season and network is bad, my boss can tell me network is bad, we are having too many job calls, let's increase to the mid-range. Who is going to check? Who would know? So I think we need to talk about the regulatory capacities of those agencies. They should be able to have access to the telecoms companies to know what we are doing so that when we switch range, they will know. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
You have a question, sir?
Emmanuel, I believe. Yes. Emmanuel from Akwa Ibom. Thank you so much. Incidentally, Jafaru already started talking about
yes.
the three
different bands.
levels, low, medium, and high. And I think you mentioned that in part of your opening comments. Perhaps Emmanuel missed out on that. However, there are issues that Emmanuel has also raised, and that is part of the issues we are raising here as well, to do with regulatory framework. For instance, it said that many telecommunications laws are not fully developed. When we begin to look at what might happen, he says there is a worry that people might switch to the high level, which he says is harmful, and that if there is no regulatory framework, it means anybody can just decide to go from low to medium or high, and nobody would know the difference. Can we talk about that?
Okay, let's start by letting the viewers know that as it stands now, the only frequency that has been allocated is 3,500 gigahertz. That's 3.5 gigahertz.
Okay.
So no high frequency spectrum has been allocated.
Okay.
So as it stands, you can only MTN giving the 3.5 gigahertz and 3.6 gigahertz can only switch within those two. They can't go beyond that because that's what has been allocated to them.
So it's not possible that
for
anyone
now,
can go beyond.
For now, it's not.
Okay.
But it's a valid question when we begin to, when allocations have been done to companies for the high band. Because switching now would now be, you can switch and nobody would know, she is speaking from the perspective of an insider.
Yes.
That's what they do because her boss will tell her, do this, and without question she will do it because she has done it before where she will switch from the 600 megahertz to the 2100 megahertz, which was the one which is the one that the 3G and the 4G are running on.
Right.
You get, so she is raising a valid question, and it's now in the hands of the regulatory authorities to look at the possibility of controlling how you switch signals, because now she mentioned a case of the altimeter.
Oh, okay.
He mentioned a case of the altimeter. The altimeter is what determines your altitude, the altitude of the plane from the ground. That is the role of the altimeter. So the challenge is that the altimeter would not be able to, the pilot would not be able to determine how close they are to the ground, especially if the weather is bad.
Okay.
You get, so if the weather is good, they can always do that. But yeah, advanced country want to take the best, they want to take all necessary precautions just to ensure that.
We'll ask you to pause here. There are other aspects which we'll go into, but let's quickly take this other call. This must be our last caller tonight. David from Oyo, I think, is calling in. Let's hear you, David. Go ahead. Okay, that call is lost. So let's just look at other aspects. Now, the worry he expressed was someone just on their own deciding to go beyond what has been allocated to them. But as it is so far, just two companies have been allocated
3.5, 3.6, 3.7, and 3.8.
Then the next question would be, do regulatory bodies have the capacity, if and when we get to that level where they might allocate a higher frequency or what?
Yes, spectrum.
Higher spectrum. Do regulatory authorities have the capacity to be able to monitor, or it's just...
Yes, they do have the capacity to monitor.
Don't forget that this 5G deployment in Nigeria has a history. From when the broadband policy was launched November last year, September last year, and to when the trial was conducted across the nations. All of these things were put into consideration, okay? And till when the auction, up till when the auction actually came out. So that is to tell you that NCC, even though I'm not speaking for NCC, has gone through all the corners to see what will happen, what can happen, how to go about it if this happens. And they have also done what is called peer review mechanism with countries that have already deployed it, like UK, US, South Korea, to see how they are managing it in case if this happens or that happens. So they have the capacity, to ensure that what she's, afraid of does not, take place.
So again, just to drive home the point, while in the US the deployment, of course, could have been most probably in the 3 levels. You talk about low, medium, and high. But in the case of Nigeria, the high has not
been allocated.
Yeah. Therefore, what you're dealing with is the 3.
Is the medium. Is the medium that has been allocated.
Medium that has been allocated, and with that, there's no chance of any one operator being able to say, well, the weather is bad, or some other reason, let's just
switch to. There is nothing to switch to.
Okay, so
there is nothing to switch to. But that's for now.
That's
because
for now.
If the allocation comes in, then it would
worry in the future.
Yes.
So, but let's now go back to an earlier issue that was raised by a caller. I think it was Yahoo from Kebbi, and he was talking about the deployment, particularly challenges that could be faced in rural areas. Now, we've all agreed here that fiber optic cables would be laid, and someone worried about destruction, digging up and laying of this and that. I am looking at this in terms of the general cost, where people who operate businesses such as this have complained of multiple taxations, right of way. You go through a state, you pay, you go through a local government, you pay, you go through a community, you pay, and that's not even talking about the people themselves who say, look, this thing is passing through my backyard, you have to pay. That increases the cost. People are still saying the cost of data is still high in Nigeria. How do we respond to that?
Clearly, and the NCC and the ministry is already working on this, and through the various governors, to ensure that the right of way is reduced, because if it's high, it's going to be passed to the end user. So I am sure the governors forum has agreed to reduce the cost in such a way that even when it gets to the end user, it's not very expensive. So, but some of these things are state-bound issues. The federal government is ready and willing to ensure that this fiber optic goes to the various states and it gets to the end user. Sometimes politics come to play a role. But for what I know, because I have been opportune to be part of 1 or 2 committees that deliberate on some of these issues, I know, even the present ministry, minister has done extensive work, with the NCC to ensure that the cost of, taking the fiber optic from one state to another, is reduced to a very minimum.
Now we're talking 5G. People are complaining now would it, well, there's a suggestion that it might reduce the cost of data. Is this true, and how would it do that? Because if you're paying so much for now, and then you're getting a service that will be much faster, wouldn't that be paying?
It will reduce the cost of data, but it will increase the cost of consumption.
Which in other words,
well, it means that you control. If you control yourself, if you control yourself, then you get so. The cost of data would be reduced drastically because now it has more capacity. Because what we're actually paying for is the capacity to download. So now it has more capacity to accommodate everybody. So the cost will be reduced. But now, because
that are closer to one another, it's not like one mast in another place transmitted to another
place. No. So now it's now left for you to now know what you are downloading. Yes. If you download irrelevant things, you will pay for the irrelevant things that you're downloading. But if you download accurate things and
let me put this across to you. Seeing that in our part of the world, there's what is called the abuse of the telephone, which has been carried to the matter of data and the internet. It's quite difficult to take a straightforward conversation on phone. I mean, there are people who would sit on the phone for maybe up to an hour for no real reason than just to exchange pleasantries. And you do see that in the social media that consumes a lot of data. And this is like everybody wants to ask, how are you? How is your family, your wife, your children, the cat, the dog, the car, and things like that.
Well, I would say it's let's look at it from this perspective. I think it's those who tend not to understand what is happening that would want to do that, or who would. Let me look at it from, you have someone that your parents now, your siblings are calling, and you are the one buying the data for them. You would caution them to tell them that, please, is it not great? They are all fine. you prefer to generalize the greeting. They are all fine. All of them, they are fine. Compared to when, if he's paying for the data, and he knows fully well that if he speaks 1 minute, it will be charged so amount, he would know how to caution himself, except he knows that there are ways he gets the money that he doesn't stress himself.
Yeah, quickly to that is that some of these guys that you see, they use over the top, the OTT, like we call them, like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They do that to make money. Okay. Yeah, because if you spend 2,000 naira online and you know in the end you're going to make 10,000, you go ahead and do it. They do that to make money.
Two things that we'll just consider as we wind down. One, of course, we started talking about the deployment, the cost of it, and it's obvious that some parts of the country would have a longer wait than others before they get this deployed there, especially in the rural areas. So it's not as if we all go to sleep and wake up in the morning and 5G is everywhere. That's taken care of. Then, of course, two other questions which are related. Well, let me just make it into one. And that has to do with cyber crimes, hacking, financial crimes, people going into other people's accounts. Now they have a vehicle, they can do this faster. There are people who all they need to do is call you up and engage you in a conversation, and they're trying to hack into, and now they can do this at a faster rate. How is it going to be possible, that's talking of cybersecurity now, to be able to trace people who steal funds online? Because it's easier for them to do it now. And the other aspect of it is, are we not going to see the syndrome that we now refer to as Yahoo boys all over the place now that they have a faster means to carry out?
As long as, should I go ahead?
No, go ahead.
As long as digital internet is concerned,
yes,
you can't rule cybercrime out.
Right.
Everything that happens in the physical domain, I mean every form of crime that happens in the physical domain has a replica feature in the cyber domain, including kidnapping.
Right.
So, but in the physical domain, you kidnap human beings. But in the cyber domain, they kidnap your data.
Right.
So, we are going to, 5G is going to, there's going to what's called short attack, more damage. With 4G, if you are attacked for 5 minutes, the size of data that they can just take will be minimal and may not affect you. But with 5G, if you are attacked for 30 seconds, they may take the whole of your system.
Yes.
Completely. They would download the whole of your system completely for 30 seconds. But that would not be possible with 4G. And as I have always been saying this, Nigerians are advancing in cybercrime. As it stands, we are just very good with social engineering, but we are learning hacking. Youth are learning hacking, and we need to be prepared when they come to start hacking us.
Because now we have a tool. They have a tool in their hands to do it better.
We need to be prepared. They are learning extensively. And these are not skills that are hidden. These are skills you can go and learn on your own on the internet.
See, I just add to you know, here, when we talk about hacking or cybercrime, what comes to mind is he took my money.
He took my...
you know, that kind of a thing. That is not what we're talking about. You know, your blog group can be exchanged. And your identity can be stolen. And someone commits crime with it, and your name is there as one who committed the crime. You know, planes can be made to collide. You know, we have just one, what do you call it, an accounting system in Nigeria. I mean, a secondary school boy can just wake up one day, you know, and hack that account, and Nigeria wakes up, you know, that kind of thing. So there's so many things that are coming up. So we have to prepare for those skills. We cannot run away from it, but I know we still have the soldiers. We have to train them well. There's what is called Hackers Conference in Las Vegas that happens every year. So if you go there, you think you are so prepared, they will hack you and prove to you that you are not, you are not very secure. They will not take anything. There are professional hackers who will hack into your system and show to you that you are not very, very, secure.
So the watchword here now is security. That means corporate bodies or countries must invest more.
Just the way you have accountants.
On the infrastructure and awareness.
Just the way you have accountants in every organization. You must have a cybersecurity specialist.
In your organization.
You get every organization, no matter how small, just the way account your money is you are so it's so important to you. Your system should be that important to you, because with the system, your money it will go with the system. You know, Warren Buffett made a statement and he said something. He said, cyber security is a more damaging problem. It's a problem that we should consider to be serious more than nuclear power.
Right.
And most persons sat back and said, well, what's this guy saying? He knows what he's saying. Why? Because nuclear powers can be controlled from the cyberspace.
Right. To conclude, that the next World War it's not going to be war by bows and arrows and guns and machines.
Cyber war.
It's going to be a cyber war.
And any war that is happening now without, in fact, the Second World War ended as a result of the intervention of Alan Turing. Alan Turing was the mathematician that hacked the German communication system and began to release intelligence to their opponent, and that made them to know what the German wanted to do, where their strategy is, what they are doing, and all that, and that reduced the war. The war that was supposed to end, estimated it was supposed to end 1946. It ended 1940. Was it 2 years before? It ended 2 years earlier, and millions of properties were saved. Now that is 1940 something. Now that it is the digitalization is fully materialized, no war can. In fact, no, as it stands now, war is happening, but it is cyber war. You would not know. Countries are hacking into countries.
Oh well, we've seen that on the political front. There's still allegations even now.
Intelligence. You no longer send people to go and gather intelligence. No. You do your intelligence gathering from the cyberspace. What's the level of our preparedness to our law enforcement agencies? Are they prepared?
Right.
Do they have the skill? We're not talking about this Yahoo skill. I told us earlier on what we are good at is social engineering. These Yahoo guys, we are very good at social engineering. And social engineering has to do with manipulation. We are very good at it. They can manipulate you to do what you don't want to do because we are good at it. But beyond that, the real hacking skills, where they hack into your system, they hack into any system that they want to hack, do whatsoever they want to do. There's a case, let me just wrap up with this case about a mob guy who they tried killing the guy. He did not die, so they rushed him to the hospital. On getting to the hospital now, they know fully well that they won't be able to have access to the hospital. Right. So what they did was that they hacked the database of the hospital. They changed the injection that they were supposed to give the guy to something else. So when the nurse on duty came, the nurse picked the injection that was on the system and injected the guy, and the guy died. So mission accomplished.
And it is on that note we'll leave this conversation. That would be the next stop. Next time we gather to talk about the deployment of 5G, we'll bring up these concerns, and this one will be targeted directly at our security and regulatory agencies to see how prepared they are for what might be coming ahead. But for now, as I always say, no one program can take care of all the issues. So we must end this conversation here and thank our guests for availing us of their experience and knowledge in these matters. Dr. Bayero Agabi, Executive Director, Center for Cyber Awareness and Development, SECAD, a fellow Nigerian Computer Society, and Vice President, Internet Group. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, sir.
We also extend our thanks to Haniel Jafaru, IT cybersecurity expert, MD, Hicks Academy. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you too. Well, there were so many questions, and I'm sure there'll be more when we come back with issues like this from you all. So we'd like to thank you for being part of the program too. Next week, we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stober. Continue to stay safe.